show. my God, I cannot believe it. Like, finally, I am getting around to FlightBeam's MSP. Like, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for this. So, all right, guys, let's strap in because we're going right now. Right now. No, like right now, like seriously right now. My apologies, guys. I really intended... you know what? Before I
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what's
testing?
that?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. What the hell? Oh.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
Oh,
1, that's what that is. Yeah, what you were hearing just now, yeah, testing 1, 2, 3. Can I just get some feedback really quickly before I even start that the audio is okay? Because I've been having problems in the past with audio. So I want to make sure, number one, that you can hear me clearly or that it's not too loud. And then I'm going to unpause the sim. And hopefully you guys can hear my new toy. And you can also let me know if that's coming in too loud or whatever. I'm trying to... I'm still not using a proper mic. I'm still using my camera's shotgun mount. So it's not really designed to be used with PC. I haven't invested in a new mic yet because I haven't really had any time to. So if I can just get a quick hit back. Oh, it's perfect. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I can go ahead and get started then. Yeah, so I have been dying. First of all, welcome to Minneapolis, huh? My first time here in Flight Simulator, so that's cool. You know, I was actually looking around to see if I could find, like, if anyone had done like a freeware city rendition of Minneapolis or something that I could include with the stream, but I couldn't find anything like that. So we're kind of just flying over open land class North America right now. And this is my new toy. I'm like really digging this helicopter. It's got some bugs so far because I know they haven't released an official... oh, shoot, the gear's on? Whoops. Oh, FSUI PC. Oops, I forgot to do that. Sorry. Oh man, the train wreck is already starting. Okay, kind of put the gear up now. Oh, really? Oh man. I can see it right now. This stream is not going to work out. Whenever you start prepared and you get that error message saying... what was that error message I got where it says, you know, something error running everything from default or whatever that is? Okay, that's not a good thing. So I can already see right now my FSUI PC settings haven't kicked in, so that's not good. Anyway, I've been hoping to get around to this scenery for a long time. Came out just before FlightSimCon. Was it before FlightSimCon? Or was it after? See, I can't even get my thoughts together here. What's going on here? So anyway, I hadn't really had the chance to get around to this scenery yet, and this is the latest FlightBeam masterpiece. And this is the first FlightBeam scenery that doesn't use that quaddle, whatever. I think Ross was asking me here in a chat just a minute ago about if I was going to get Charlotte. And the fun thing is I actually spent a few hours in Charlotte between LA and Hartford. So I had never been there before. It was nice to actually see the airport, and you know, it's always great when you have these airport sceneries, but you've never actually been to the actual airport in real life. So it was really nice to be able to really see what the real airport looks like. And I gotta say, Imagine Sim and FS Dream Team, I have the Imagine Sim version, the FSDT version. I didn't even install, but based on the screenshots, it was nice to see that they pretty much got it accurate. I'm not really in for Quaddle anymore, so I think Ross was asking me if I was going to get Charlotte, and the answer as of right now was no. After Memphis, I pretty much reached my wit's end with Quaddle. I had so many problems getting that airport to work, and when it worked you know, well, except for the fact that when you loaded it up, there was a long, like, sort of pause or hold that was kind of annoying. And then when you're on approach to the scenery, you get that pause. I think Amir was far too aware of that, and I think that's why he kind of moved off of it, because with MSP, when you fly in from afar, it's like flying into a Fly Tampa airport now. You know, it's just smooth like butter all the way down, which is really great. So I'm so glad. And, you know, I'd have to imagine that that's probably some of the reason, perhaps maybe why it took so long for this airport to get out, because just in talking to Mir, just kind of in our emails, you know, I think he kind of expressed that, you know, this project was running far behind schedule, and they were really concerned about, you know, how long it was taking for this airport to get released. But, you know, I think it's worth it. You know, when it comes to FlightBeam, I don't think that you know, they're gonna see any change of sales just because something takes a while to get released. But again, you know, you've got a team of people that, you know, count on sales to make the rent, right? So naturally, the longer a scenery goes, or any project or any development really that runs beyond what the developers internally intend for it to happen, you know, the cost starts to go up. So I know that this one was a long time coming for a lot of people, present company included. And you know, I've said this before, and I think Ross has kicked my butt a couple of times for saying this. You know, MSP is not a beautiful airport. Like, it's not very aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, but it is a strategic airport. It is a very important strategic airport in the United States as a hub, you know, and as the home of Northwest Airlines. You know, it's a very important airport. Now, I say the hub for Northwest Airlines because as we all know, Northwest still very much exists. They've changed the name to Delta Airlines, which, don't get me wrong, I think right now, I think Delta is the best, by far, the best domestic carrier in the United States right now. I mean, as far as international service, they're probably the best in that category as well. I really wouldn't know, because usually when I fly internationally, I fly on international carriers. But domestically, Delta's got the best product. Bar none. They are the best airline in the United States right now, in my opinion. And, you know, I can compare them quite well to United, American, and many other airlines. And, you know, my flight, and again, because I've been beating up on my wife on this one, because, you know, I'm a Delta, what is it, Silver Medallion member or whatever it is. And for whatever reason, she booked me on American Airlines. And American flies those A320s and those A321s, and if you know me at all, you know I'm not that big of an Airbus fan. I mean, I think Airbus makes terrific airplanes. I just prefer to fly on Boeing metal. So, you know, when it comes to crossing the United States from one end to the other, if it's not a 757 or a 767, I'm typically not very happy. Even 737s, I mean, I would still prefer a 757 if it's a narrow body. But I'd still take a 737, I think, over an A320. That's just me. That's my preference. But anyway, so from LA to Charlotte, I was on an American, and I say American, but what I really want to say is I was on a U.S. Airways A321. What's going on over here? There's like some funky stuff going on with the water. You guys noticing that? I don't know what's going on there. I was on a U.S. Airways A321, and that one I would probably wager was maybe 7-8 years old, so not that old, I think, for a narrow body. It definitely wasn't one of the newer deliveries that American had taken delivery of with the new winglets and everything. It was okay. The problem with that, there was something to do with I guess the seating arrangement, because I was in the last row. Was that before the overwing window exit or behind it? It was an A321, so I was behind the wing, but before the what would that be? The L2 exit, I think. And I don't know if it's just because that's how Airbus designs their plane. Like, you know, like with the A330. in the A340 series, you know how like as you go towards the back of the aircraft, like there's an actual incline, which to me is just so stupid. I guess maybe it's the same case with the A321, but there was like about maybe almost a foot gap between the armrest and the the bulkhead. So like I couldn't lean up against the wall. So I mean, it was an uncomfortable flight. It's one of the most uncomfortable flights I'd ever been on. But then the flight from Charlotte going up to Bradley, oh my gosh, that plane is on its way out of the fleet. Like, you could tell they didn't care about it anymore. You know, it still had all the original U.S. Airways seats and bulkheads, and they just slapped like an American Airlines sticker. Like, literally, they just slapped a sticker on it. You know, and when you're boarding an A320 and you look left and you see CRTs, okay, you know this is an old one. So they really didn't put all that much effort into that plane. I think that plane's on its way out. But anyway, there's, no real, bare minimum in terms of, like, snack offerings. I know there's people who work for American and are like, wow, you're really beating up on my airline, DeAndre. I get it. But, I used to fly the American 767-200s back and forth to New York a lot from L.A., and the 767-200 is a slow poke airplane, but it says a lot when I say that the old 767-200s were better than these Airbuses that I was on. Like, that's a little bit sad. So, and maybe these airplanes will be out of the fleet soon. I don't know, but I was really just kind of disappointed with American service. But coming back on Delta, they put us on a 767, which check, right? Because who doesn't want a 767 over an A320 or an A321? And then secondly, you've got IFEs. American had no IFEs in any of these aircraft. So you had the full sort of Delta in-flight, their whole in-flight, what do you call that? Their entertainment. And then on top of that, and this was the most shocking part about Delta, and this is something that I have, literally, the last time I experienced this, I was on a DC-10 in 1993. A full meal service that is free on a domestic flight in economy. Something is going on here. I think, you know what? I think maybe Orbix is bleeding here, and maybe FlightBeam needs to be at the top of the scenery library. I admit I didn't look at the instruction manual or whatever you want to call it, so if I had to guess, I'm assuming that's what's going on there. But a full meal service in economy, and it was funny because my wife was sitting next to me. First of all, it was a night flight, so I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to nap because it was raining, departing out of JFK. It was going to be a night flight. And I'm thinking, I guess I'll just sleep. And the flight attendant reached over and tapped me on the shoulder. She really wanted me to get this menu, and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm not going to do any food for purchase. I spent $15 on Shake Shack at the airport, so I don't think I need to spend any more money on food. So I kind of briefly looked at it and was like, oh, okay, yeah, they got some decent food there, but I'm not going to purchase any meals. And when the meal service came around, we looked at that thing again, and it turns out they offer free meal service, and the food was actually good. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to Delta on that, because I think they're really trying to bring back the types of services that people always, if you've been flying a lot in the 70s, 80s, 90s, things that used to be standard have all disappeared, and it's nice to see Delta bringing some of that stuff back. So, so right now, I think, and not only that, but like, for example, I checked a bag, which is something I never do, but I had all my, camera equipment from the event, and I sure as hell wasn't going to check that, so I had to check the clothes in, and once you check it in, you get a text message. It's on the plane. You get a text message when they're dropping it down the carousel, stuff like that. So, just really convenient stuff that a lot of other airlines, I think, aren't really looking into yet. But anyway, so FlightSimCon was a hit, and it's crazy that it's this late in the game that I'm already, just barely talking about FlightSimCon. But definitely by far was the best event that we've ever had. And when I got involved back in 2015, one of the big things that I kept trying to point out was get involved in this thing. The more people that show up, the better this thing is going to get. And, I think it worked. People are really showing up and supporting this event. And even though it was in a hotel, You know, it worked out really, really well being in a hotel. It was a lot of fun, So I know that a lot of you are waiting to see a lot of those interviews, and I think for those of you who hadn't been to FlightSimCon before, and you're probably wondering, you know, what exactly is DeAndre doing the whole time? I think you guys that have met me there for the first time, you get an idea of how much I'm running around and kind of how tight the schedule is and trying to cover as much as I can. And then when I get home, all of the stuff has to be edited. Of course, when I left work and went on vacation, it was kind of a crazy time, and so naturally I come back and, you know, there's still a lot to do. So I think I've had this is what, my third day off since I've been back from vacation, so I haven't been able to get to everything as fast as I would have liked. But I have a lot of stuff in store. You know, it's just really getting all the free time, and today is my last day of free time. And you know, I'm still editing, but then I'm thinking, man, I've got all these live streams that I need to catch up on because there's so much good stuff that I've been checking out that I want to share with you all. And there's just never enough time in a day or a week or anything like that. So so rest assured it is coming. But MSP, I had to get to this. I really had to get to this. So yeah, because I mean we've all waited so long to get this airport, and finally it's here. And I'm really, really super excited about it. Right now, we're just kind of flying around the outer sort of edges of the scenery, so you can get an idea of how big the coverage area is. You've got all these custom. Again, this is bleeding through. I think my scenery library is not accurate, so I'm going to come out of here. I just wanted to show some of these bridges and all of this detail that was put in out here. I think this is definitely clashing with Orbix, though. Yeah. So I didn't actually look into that. I should have before starting the stream, so that's my fault. So I'm pretty sure it's an Orbix thing there. So anyway, I'll have to adjust the scenery library at some other point. But anyway, so my first flight here was right after, well, not right after, but if you haven't caught it yet, make sure you take a look at the Turbulent Designs MBS live stream that I did. That MBS is such a fantastic freaking scenery. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love it. And Turbulent is going to hit it out of the park again with Idaho Falls that's coming up. If you didn't catch any news today, you might have saw that there are some new updates for Idaho Falls as well. You know, I think the perfect pair for this region, because there's not a whole lot of payware airports up here. What? Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, it's mine. The perfect pair for two airports in this region is definitely Minneapolis and MBS. Now, naturally, MBS is an airport that's more or less really designed for CRJs, and we don't really have a proper CRJ out yet. But the 717, I think, is the next best thing. And if you have prepared version 4, then even better, because now you don't have to worry about having to deal with running out of memory and stuff like that between the two airports. So I think you know, the 717 is the best regional aircraft we have. Second best would be the Quality Wings Avro, which still ain't P3D yet, and we'll get into that once I publish that interview with Quality Wings, which was a total train wreck. I think you guys are going to love it. Here, I think we're looking at some static Delta jets here. These are some pretty impressive statics. Let me get a little bit closer to some of these. In fact, so before Jared Marshall of Orbix, before he headed back to Australia, he stopped by for a little bit. And you know, he was like, you know what, I want to check out that MSP. Do you have it yet? I'm like, yeah, I got it installed. He's like, man, I really want to check out that MSP. And one of the things that he first was looking at was, man, look at their static aircraft. Holy crap, these are good. So, and I have to agree, these static aircraft are really good. So I'm giving a lot of play to Delta today because, like I said, I think they're the best airline in the U.S. right now. And so I think it's fitting because, you know, this is a Delta hub now, being formerly known as Northwest. And looking at these 757 is my favorite narrow-body aircraft. Used to be the 727, became the 757, which I think is also fitting because the 757 is a 727 replacement. And here's a bit of trivia. If you've ever looked at some of the original Boeing designs of the 757, it actually had the 727 nose Oh my God, it was hideous. It was super ugly. But yeah, there's a 757. And speaking of which, 757s in FlightSimCon, as it turns out, Level D flight simulations is still around, huh? And I've been saying it for years. I'm like, these guys are dead. They're done. I got to check it out at FlightSimCon. I know a lot of people are wondering, like, does it hold up to 2017 in terms of quality and stuff like that? And based on what I saw, the only thing that it was lacking was the winglets. And I didn't get to see the night lighting yet either. But other than that, I mean, it's Level D. So I think the only downside of Level D is Level D and PMDG used to be like right on par with each other. And because Level D has spent the better part of the last decade working on one aircraft, whereas PMDG has released several in that time, PMDG has soared. You know, they've become the #1. So I think the only real issue here with Level D is, you know, how might you compare it to the latest PMDG offerings? Now, naturally, the 757 is an older aircraft, so unlike, you know, the NGX and the 747-800 series and all these other newer aircraft, I think it's still going to look, or at least in my opinion, it looks like, you know, like a 757 that's been around forever. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to the looks versus what it's going to be capable of systems-wise, I think everyone's going to be pretty happy, you know, once they get it in their hands. And that'll be an interesting interview with Steve Halpern from Flight 1. Again, all that stuff will be coming up as well. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to take a look at the 757. What a beautiful airplane. I love that plane. And that thing beats the crap out of any A320 series. So I don't know if you guys saw or not. Wow, these buildings right here look just like the Delta Training Center in Atlanta. Looks just like it. Almost thought I was in Atlanta for a minute there. So I don't know if you guys saw the announcement from Boeing. I don't think they have shown the previews yet. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. But Boeing has announced the 797. So, but they're calling it a twin aisle. So why did that plane disappear? Oh, that's disappearing. See that? I don't know what's going on there. So I don't think they've unveiled it yet. But what I was hoping they were going to unveil was the 757 replacement, which, to be honest, when it comes to the 757, the only thing you really need to do is just retool, open up the tooling facility for the 757, or build a new one in Long Beach. The only thing the 757 needs is what? Probably new wings, and bigger, higher bypass ratio turbofans, newer avionics deck, flight deck, and, you know, maybe some of those lighter materials that they're using on the 787. And that's it. They don't need to change the design of it or anything. I bet Boeing could whip something out like that probably in 5 years' time. I don't think we need, for a successor of the 757, to be a whole new plane. I think we can work off the same design and just make, you know, the necessary changes, and it would still be the best narrow-body plane ever built. But anyway, so just heading over. I know it looks probably a little bit dark from the stream, and I know there's a lot of questions and comments and stuff in there. So, oh, that's right. I forgot. My stuff ain't working here today. So let's drop the gear here. I'm going to see if I can brighten things up a little bit. I was trying to play around a bit with the HDR, but I really wasn't happy with the way everything was looking. So I'm just kind of keeping this as normal. But if necessary, I might go to HDR and just brighten things up a little bit so we can take a look at the detail here. I'm just going to set this helicopter down. So anyway, this is a Sim Dolphin, and really terrific aircraft, great flight dynamics. The only thing, oh, that was rough. Oh, that was rough. So here's a couple of things with this. Number one, I am experiencing some bugs with it. I can't get the panel lighting to work. I'm sure you guys saw the stream or the post that I put up there. Right now, I think that's all I've got it narrowed down to at the moment. There's one other bug that has to do with the autopilot and the way it screws with the rudder pedal. So even when I do complete checklist start up to finish, for some reason I can't get that extinguished, and so I kind of have to shortcut to like a quick start because I can't seem to get rid of that. The only other issue that I've had with this aircraft is just the panel lighting. They just don't turn on. I don't know. Everything will be switched on. They just don't come on. So that's about it. But I did fly it in the Oculus today. It's really, really, I think, well for Oculus. The only thing I have to get used to is the floor is solid, so there's no, I can't really, it's hard to gauge where I'm at because I can't see through the floor. So that's the only downside out of that. And actually you can see here, this is part of how you can see here. I know that FlightBeam had some people on site. I'm not sure if Amir went on site or not, but I remember him saying that MSP, unlike the whole Frankfurt scenario, where is it? Oh, there it is. Unlike the whole... does this get any brighter? Not really, huh? You know what? Maybe let me fool with HDR here for just a second, see if I can brighten this up a bit, because it does seem a bit dark. Hang on. Unlike the Frankfurt situation, they were able to get people on the ground at the airport, which is something that's very difficult to do these days. It's very, very difficult to do. So even the simple things like those Delta baggage carts, you can see they were on the ramp. And that definitely makes a huge difference. Let me just see if I can make this any brighter. I feel like it's so dark. Well, now it's black. I don't know. I guess it's trying to load. Anyway, while this is loading, let me see here. Ross is asking about, oh, can I piece him if I'm going to... Yes, so Chris is asking, am I going to do a demonstration for Wama? And the answer is yes, I am. But I decided to wait until I have prepared version 4. So here's the thing. I had the beta version of prepared. But I installed it on one of my 4 terabyte 7200 RPM drives because I don't have any more SSD space. So right now I'm eyeballing 2 1 terabyte SSDs. That's going to run me a good $1,000 worth, and I'm just not ready to drop that cash until probably at least another month or so. So as a result of that, I'm still in version 3. Now the thing with Wama is I think it's best if it's shown in prepared version 4, and the reason being is because with Wama you can get in and out of, like I can have 15 of my favorite airplanes all lined up here on the ramp, and I can get into and out of all of them. But the problem is every time you get into another aircraft, it resets the scenery from scratch. So you really start killing off VAS like really fast. I think I was only able to do it 3 times before running out of VAS every single time. So in the case with prepared version 4, I think we can pretty much do that an unlimited amount of time. So you can have, like, let's say for example your favorite airport is Orcas Island and they have a few open hangars there, and let's say you have 5 aircraft that you love and you want to keep them in that hangar permanently. That means every time you fly into Orcas, your Real Air Duke is there and your A2A Comanche is always there in those hangars. And let's say you're flying in on your, you know, your Coronado PC-12 or whatever, and then you park your PC-12, shut down, then you know, hop in your Avatar guide and you walk over to the A2A, hang on a second, where is lighting? You head over to your A2A Comanche. Sorry, I just say Con Am at Comanche, but either or. Oh, that's like super bright. I guess we can work with this. That's really bright, but at least we can see detail. So then you hop into your A2A Comanche, and then you can take off and fly. But before you can take off and fly, the only downside of that is it resets the entire scenery again. So at least in prepared version 4, I don't think... Is this too bright? I feel like this is almost too bright. Crap, I can't raise my landing gear again. Is this too bright, you guys? I feel like this might be a little bit too bright. I'm going to take out those baggage carts. So yeah, so that's the only thing. So in prepared version 4, you should be able to do that like an unlimited amount of times. Because one of the things I always said would be cool is instead of having to select all your favorite planes from an aircraft selection menu, what if all your favorite planes were in a hangar? And you could just go to that hangar, pick what plane you want, and they're all like parked next to each other, and you can get in the one you want and fly away. Well, that's basically what Wama does. So yeah, I really want to demonstrate that program because I think it's a fascinating program. So I was going to stream it, and then I decided now that they released a prepared version 4 update to it, I thought it would be better to show it off in prepared version 4. So the only issue with prepared version 4 is, yeah, I haven't even purchased it yet. My beta's expired. I haven't purchased it. So right now I'm just waiting to get these SSDs. Actually, I only need the one terabyte SSD for prepared version 4. The other SSD is for X-Plane 11 and Flight Sim World, and the new simulator that Fly Inside's working on. I know a lot of people are like, "What the hell is up with that?" And I have some strong opinions on that, and I think you're going to be surprised when I tell you my full sort of findings with that simulator. And this is what I'm going to tell you, because a lot of people are like probably thinking Fly Inside is like in over their heads on this. You know what? They're actually not. And you know, I don't want to say too much about it now, because I'm going to get into this when I publish my interview with them. But I've had a lot of time to think about what they did with it, the features that it has, and what they're trying to do with it. And to be honest with you, like, it'll never be a full-fledged simulator like Prepared or X-Plane or anything like that, but it is a very necessary simulator. Like, if you see what they did with this thing and you have a full understanding of what they did, that thing is doing stuff that, like, it's insane. Like, they came up with ideas that we've never seen before, that some of you guys are going to go crazy about when I get into it. So I'm not going to get into it right now, but when I release the review, I'm going to kind of I'm gonna talk in depth about it, because I spent a lot of time with it at the end of FlightSimCon after everyone was gone, and I spent some time with it. I looked at what they were doing and what they're trying to do with it, and you know what? It's a very necessary flight simulator. And you guys might think I'm crazy. You might think I'm crazy, but when I get into why and you see why, I don't think there's anyone, at least probably 50% of you, are going to use it as a supplemental flight simulator. And I'll get into that in due time. But anyway, let me see here. One of the things I wanted to do really quickly, because I know you guys are seeing that the airport is so empty. I wanted at least for you guys to see happy hour at the bar real quick. I can't stream like this, though, because my frames are going to take a shot, especially because I'm streaming. But I at least wanted you guys to see Minneapolis during happy hour with all the planes parked up at the bar, because this airplane gets flooded. Boo, yeah, look at that. So I'm going to take a quick fly around, because we are going to get stutters. My frame rates just dropped to... Wait, what are my frame rates right now? Wow, I'm still maintaining, like, okay, it's going from 40 to 27 frames per second. And that's 100% AI. See, last time I tried this, my frames dropped to like 20, and it was like really stuttery, and so I didn't want to fool around with that anymore. I can't believe my frames are still this high, though. It's still stuttery, though. You can see those stutters. So before I turn this back off, at the very least, I wanted you guys to kind of see the airport with all the AI in it, because it's going to look pretty empty for the rest of the stream. So at the very least, we can just see that really quickly. All these beautiful planes here. So yeah, you can probably note I am getting some stutters here. This is 100%. Realistically, you know, just setting like AI to like 5% still gives you a lot of planes. But look at that. That's like Delta dominating. Here's another thing I love about Delta too. I love the fact that they're committed to still flying the MD-80, because technically speaking, that plane should be long gone by now. That plane should be long gone. Think of it this way. When you think of American-built airplanes versus Airbus, and this is not a shit on Airbus moment, but think about this, right? Think about the Airbus A340 line of aircraft, right? The A340s, those came out sometime around like in the late 90s, right? And then like the brand new A340 series aircraft, those came out like around what, 2005-ish? How many A340s are still flying around? Like, how many airlines have kept them? You know what I mean? Like, you hardly ever, at least at LAX, we hardly ever see A340s anymore. I haven't seen an A340-300 in ages. Virgin Atlantic and Lufthansa, I think, are the only two that are still flying that 600. And pretty much like the 500 and all the ones at Singapore and all these other airlines, like they've all, China Eastern there, they've all disappeared. And yet, MD-80s are still flying in plentiful. Like, can you believe that? I mean, the MD-80s predate A340s by what, like 2 decades or something almost, like a decade and a half, and they are still flying. So anyway, I love that Delta is still flying MD-80s because I'm glad that they haven't disappeared. Because technically speaking, that thing should have been on the endangered species list a long time ago. I mean, we still have the MD-80s, we still have the what's the other one? The 717s are still, those are going to be flying for a long time. You know, the thing about Northwest, I never understood Northwest as an airline. Like, I just didn't get them. Northwest was just a weird-ass airline, and I'll explain why. Because Northwest, they flew A330s, A320s, A319s, DC-9s, DC-10s, 747-200, and this was, like, all within the last decade. And I'm like, I just didn't get it. Like, how do they figure out their whole fleet here? It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, I'd never really understood Northwest. You know, 747-400s. I don't think Delta's fully retired off the last 747-400 yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming. But yeah, I mean, that was just a trip. So, you know, a part of me feels like that's part of the Northwest that Delta has maintained is, you know, they're still flying these old airplanes. But how cool would it have been if Delta still snagged like one last DC-10 and put it in the new Delta livery, just for like fun, for like nerds that just want to see it? Because I know a lot of people were excited to see the Delta livery on the 747. So many people were like, man, I can't wait to see Delta livery on a 747. So, and we hadn't seen that since the early 90s, I think it was, right? And the last time we saw a Delta livery on an Airbus was like, I think the 80s, because they used to operate like the A300 or whatever it was. Because I remember when I did my training at the Delta Center back in 07, they had all these models of the Delta, the Delta A310s. Now, here's one plane I think Delta should take out of retirement. I'm serious. Like, I think about this, like, because I'm sure a lot of you probably had that thought, like, what if I own my own airline, what would I do sort of scenario? And it's like, if I were the CEO of Delta, I would pull like 4 L-1011s out of retirement, and I would just put them like on whatever like a popular route is, like LAX JFK. And I would just only pull 4 out of retirement, and that would be like, you know, you'd probably have to purchase like a separate ticket for that plane, and you can fly like on a Delta L-1011 in 2017. Like, you would get the full service the way it used to be. You wouldn't deck it out like an IFE and all that crap. You wouldn't try to modernize it. You know, you'd still have the projector screen at the end of the hall. You know what I mean? You'd plug your headphones into the armrest sort of thing, and like experience the real experience of flying on an L-1011. Like, that would be freaking insane. Like, I've always thought about that. Like, what if someone started up an airline that only flew old airplanes? Like, okay, we're gonna fly DC-9s, DC-8s, L-1011s, DC-10s. What's another one? Fokkers are disappearing. I think I saw up there someone said F-70 or something. You know, bring back the Fokkers and like only fly like old airplanes. Like, I'm willing to bet that airline would make a crap load of money. Because number one, you're going to save money on IFEs. No one's going to expect any modern technology. And then the flight attendants would still wear like, you know, like the original older like flight attendant uniforms. Like, I think that'd be a kick-ass airline. But anyway, the L-1011 was such a venerable airplane. I mean, in my opinion, I think you could still pull an L-1011 out of retirement, and it would still kick ass for like the next 20 years. Seriously. Because I remember seeing Delta L-1011s were landing at LAX every 15 minutes, like as late as like 2000, like what, 3 maybe? Were we still seeing L-1011s in 2003? I think we were. Like, Delta was like the last one to pull those things out of retirement. But anyway, I think that'd be cool if they did something like that. They were just like, you know what? We're going to pull 4 out of retirement. We're only going to put them on LAX JFK. You know, ticket's going to be, you know, $1,000 round trip or something crazy. People would buy it, dude. I know I would. I'd be flying it just to be on it. Look at that. That's an invisible airplane taking off right there. Okay. My stupid AI. Alright, so I'm going to turn the AI back off now because it's getting a little bit... these frame rates are... Or not the frame rates. The frame rates, I'm surprised, are still this high. They settled down to like a steady 28 frames per second. With this, I mean, look, you're watching the stream live, right? So, this is not bad for this much AI at this airport. This really isn't bad. But I am getting some stutters, though. So I'm going to turn down the... I'm going to turn off the AI now. But at the least I wanted you guys to see that because I just think this airport looks so fascinating when it's full of airplanes. And like I said, MSP is a strategic destination. So... as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, you know, it's not like all that beautiful an airport to me. I mean, you know, like if you compare it to like some of the newer airports that are all fancy looking and all that stuff. But here's the thing about FlightBeam. Because the other issue is Dulles. Dulles is an ugly airport. Like, I mean, I'm not talking about the original architecture of the main check-in hall and the control tower and all that. I'm just talking about the piers where you park the aircraft. Like, what a lazy-ass airport Dulles is, especially for it to be serving that region of the United States. It's an ugly airport. But when FlightBeam did it, I fell in love with it because FlightBeam's quality is so damn good. And I know a lot of you are thinking, like, we're going to watch the stream and DeAndre's not going to have one negative thing to say about it because it's FlightBeam. And actually, to be honest, I do have one negative thing to say about this airport. Being FlightBeam, and if Mir's watching live, he's gonna be like, what could he possibly have to say? There is one thing, and I pointed it out when Jared and I were looking at it, and I will get to that. But I mean, other than that one little quirk, I mean, when FlightBeam does something, like FlightBeam fucking does something, like seriously. And so we all know Portland is gonna be insane. I'm a huge Flight Zone fan. If you guys remember Flight Scenery, Flight Zone, whatever it was called. Their Portland scenery at the time it was released was so far ahead of its time, and it really showed like the level of quality that we could have in flight simulation, because other than that it was really Flight Tampa that was killing it. Cloud9 was good, but it wasn't Flight Zone good. And in fact, I'm hoping that we will see a Flight Zone remake of Green State as well. So I know of at least 2 developers that are seriously eyeballing it, and you know, we'll see if either of them take the bait. But anyway, so yeah, FlightBeam, I'm so glad that they're coming back with Portland. The legendary Bill Womack is taking that on. He's never done, I think, an airport of that scale before. But you know, having Bill Womack, I think, as a part of the FlightBeam team, I think is going to definitely go a long way. You know, when it comes to like texturing and attention to detail with FlightBeam, I mean, it really is bar none. You know, so if we think of, you know, honestly, I'd love to put Flight Tampa on that list, but that Coado, I can't get with it, man. I can't get with it. I can't freaking get with it. But, you know, if we don't look at scale and we just look at quality, these are the developers that I like as of right now. I think ImagineSim is going to be joining that list pretty soon with Singapore. And I'll hopefully be having something to show off on that soon. But Jetstream Designs, I put them in the same bucket that I put with FlightBeam, Flight Tampa, Turbulent Designs. They belong in that bucket now. You know, I will mention as well, you know, the latest stuff from CeloSim, their Jacksonville. They did a really great job with Jacksonville. You know, Dreamflight, you know, I won't, yeah, you know. So there are some developers out there that really understand the importance of having attention to detail, you know. So if we take a look at this control tower over here, because I know I haven't been talking all that much about the airport. Usually when I preview something from FlightBeam, I don't really have to talk that much about the scenery because I think it reviews itself. But, I mean, look at how, you know, this is obviously brick, and you can kind of see how the textures there really so accurately accomplishes the original or the real world aesthetic of the building. I mean, that's just fantastic. I'm really digging the SaraSim Dolphin here. This helicopter, the flight dynamics here are really great. Really great. See here, we're looking at the ground textures there, all looking lovely. Got those like little water reflections there. And so let's get into sort of the main area here. And this is another thing, too, that is really becoming a norm now. I think developers have all realized that whatever little quirks an airport has, developers have to do that in real life. I haven't looked at Flight or FS Dream Team's Charlotte yet, but when I was there last month, you know, one of the things you notice is you have all of these roads running underneath the airport. And I'm assuming Flight or FSDT has included that in their version of the scenery. But it's also the same case here in MSP. And if we just back that up here, you can see here where they've cut into the terrain to include these roads that run underneath the runways here. Just fantastic. So I know there's a lot of questions about, or I know there's a lot going on in the chat. Before anyone thinks I'm ignoring them, let's drop that. I hate that I have to go back into the internal view in order to drop my gear, but yeah. I think I have to like reinstall FSUI PC or something. I don't know what happened there. Alright, let's see if I can make this landing a little bit softer than last time, huh? A little bit better. Okay, so let me just head over to the chat really quickly. Aurelio says the maintenance cost would be insane. Well, that's true, which is why you'd have to charge $1,000 a ticket. Aurelio's also pointing out the static models are crazy. Those are some of the best static models I've ever seen. Let's see. Just scrolling up here. Just one moment. Let you guys take a look at that beautiful airport there. I just want to make sure I catch up, because I did go on another one of my signature mouth running moments. Let's see here. Just trying to see if there's anything in here that I need to look at real quick. And this is Ross's home, so I like to think that he's quite pleased with the work here. Let's see. Oh, and he says they're building a new hotel at the airport in preparation for Super Bowl. Captain De Paula, what's up? He says, damn right, Delta's the best. And it's not that I'm partial to Delta just because, you know, I with the airline that I work for, I work really closely with Delta. But it's just they are. I mean, I was a Delta Silver member now for, what, about 8 years now. So they've just kind of become my de facto go-to. You know what happened? You know why I stopped flying United? Because I used to fly United a lot. I'll tell you why I stopped flying United. Because they got rid of Channel 9 or Channel 7 or whatever that was. And once they got rid of channels... Can someone remind me, was it Channel 7 or Channel 9? Whatever. When they got rid of that, I was done. You know, with United, you didn't need fancy IFE, screens, games, all that crap. All you needed was that Channel 9 where you could tune in air traffic control throughout the entire flight, and that was just the best. That, to me, like, I would turn that on, and I would just listen to it till I fell asleep, and then I'd wake up, and it'd still be going. You knew exactly where you were. You knew what approach you were going to make, you know, depending on where you were flying to. You know, and that just made it great. That just really made it great. And then all of a sudden, they let it go. You know, every now and then you get an a-hole pilot that would switch it off. But, yeah, once that was done, it was like, all right, let's go try Delta. And back then, that was just around the time when I started flying Delta, I think, when they were merging with Northwest, I think it was, or something like that. And so they were really cheap. They had gotten more expensive since then, though. Oh, you guys pointing out Mall of America? Yeah, I remember when that mall first opened up. It was all over the news here, like a mall with a roller coaster in it or something like that. Sorry, just still working around. And this says Open LC North America. I think maybe MSP needs to sit on top because I didn't notice that blurry or that texture bleeding there outside the airport. Ross, where in Idaho does your friend live? I'm really familiar with northern Idaho, though. Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, stuff like that. Oh, yeah, and thank you, Captain DePaulo, for pointing out Detroit. So, Now that we have the Twin Cities here, we need Detroit. And, you know, don't get me wrong. I think the guys over at Sun Sky Jet, you know, I think they've been doing a great job over the last 7 years or whatever they've been working on that. But at this point, I think Fly Tampa or FlightBeam just needs to go ahead and crack that on out, because I think the wait is just taking too long. Yeah. So I think if I had to choose, it'd be one of those two. You know, I think honestly, I think Turbulent Designs would be a great contender to do Detroit, but I don't know if they're ready to do anything that big yet. But yeah, I keep an eye on Sun Sky Jet too, because we really do need Detroit, especially now that we have MSP. Let's see. Oh, and Kevin's asking, how did the 757 look in the cockpit? Like the 767 or better? No, it's way better than the 767. Way better. Yeah, way better. Sorry, just getting to some of these older comments here. And Ross says, is the 797 the same as the MAX 10? I don't know what the 797 is going to be, but they're saying it's a twin aisle, so I have no idea. They're saying it's supposed to fill the gap between 739 and 788, so I don't know. Maybe like a 747 SP kind of thing. Maybe it's going to be like a really short. I don't know. I have no idea. So, yeah, I think I answered Chris's question about Wama. Wait, there was another question here. What else? Oh, and Rollo says he's the only one who thinks that the AS-365 Dolphin is a good-looking helicopter. I think it's a beautiful helicopter. I love it. We used to have a Coast Guard station at LAX, and you'd see those things flying overhead all the time with that funny... Oh, this is one thing I don't like about the helicopter, too. The sounds are way off. Because if you ever hear a Dolphin, those things kind of have like a... kind of sound to it, and this one doesn't. Like, the sounds on this thing are way off. I think I saw somewhere that someone released a sound pack for this thing. So I'm going to look into that, because, yeah, the sounds here are way off. That's the one thing about this helicopter, is it has a very distinctive sound if you've ever heard it. It's like, it kind of purrs. It's like a kind of purring sound that it does. Anyway, alright, I'm almost done here. Just catching up here. Oh, and Rude Dog is saying you also forgot Air Tahiti, which runs A343. That's right. That's right. Air Tahiti does. Land stopped. Air Tahiti does. And theirs are on the way out. When they take delivery of their 787s, theirs will be on the way out. Thank you for reminding me. That's right. Air Tahiti, Nui, or New, or whatever they pronounce it, they do still operate the A340-300s. That's right. That's the other thing, too, is we do need new E-jets, too. I forget about that, because Delta operates all of those, and to have that nice E-jet to go into MBS would be great, too. I do forget about our Brazilian brothers. Let's see. Ross says Charlotte runs great with Coato. So you're saying that when you approach the airport, it doesn't freeze and pause and stutter and do all that stuff? And he says he's more than pleased with FlightBeam MSP. Yeah, I think it's great. Okay. All right, so let's go back here. And actually now I think is a good time. I just hate that my FSUI PC, whatever got reset here. What about G? Can I hit G for gear? You know what? Let me do something real quick. I'm going to assign G to gear, since clearly that's not working. I'm just going to do that real quick, because I need to go into the other point of view. Controls, buttons and keys. I think that's under G, right? Is it just gear? Or something like that? No, it's not gear. Maybe it's under L, under landing gear, maybe? Landing light. Landing gear. Extend, retract. Okay, let's just do G key for now. There we go. That'll work. Okay. And let's go into... That way we can kind of get a better look at the detail here. We're gonna go outside the helicopter. Get that long nose. There we go. I still feel like this is really bright, but hopefully this looks okay for you guys. It was just a little bit too dark. Trying to really get a real get close up on the detail here. So for those of you who recall when we did that that P3D live stream, and we are going to do some more stuff like that coming up soon. But when FlightBeam released those initial shots of MSP that we were kind of showing in the background, holy crap, was that just insane. That really was insane. The way the lighting and everything was reflecting on that, that was just absolutely insane. So I really can't wait to get my version 4. But here's the other thing too. If anyone's thinking, okay, I'm going to get version 4 now, I can let version 3 go, do not make that mistake. Do not do that. I've been saying this for a while now. Version 3 is definitely going to be very much relevant for at least another year. For at least another year. So if you're going to get V4 and you're still running V3 or whatever it is, or, you know, I would keep V3 installed, you know, or whatever your current primary flight simulation platform is, and give version 4 a good year. Give it a good year. Give developers a good year to catch up to porting all their add-ons over, making whatever updates they need to do. But I would still keep this. Keep this still as your simming platform. Ooh, I noticed something interesting here. There's some bleeding here. Looking through that window. A little bit of bleeding there on the jet bridge. Yeah, I would definitely keep this and give version 4 a good year or so to catch up, because you know how it always works with Prepared. They'll release a new version and then you get 0.1 hot fixes, 0.2 hot fixes, 0.3 hot fixes. I think the highest they went was 0.5, right? And they've been pretty much steady at releasing the new version like once a year or whatever. Obviously 64-bit, it's here, it's the way to go. Just about every developer that I have spoken to, that I have a relationship with, which is pretty much all of them, except for maybe one, they've all basically said that, you know, they're looking into what Dovetail is doing, and you know, they've all expressed some fairly significant concerns. But when it comes to Lockheed Martin, they have expressed no concern at all, that this is definitely where they are all very vehemently dedicated. So I would still keep version 3 around. You know, keep it as, if you have it running stable, always make sure you have a nice running stable platform. For me right now, version 3 runs extremely stable. I've got tons of add-ons in it, and I'm pretty content in keeping this. And then just adding version 4, because as we all know, of course, version 3 is not going to have any more updates. So at least we know we don't have to worry about any add-ons getting broken or any issues with version 3 for the foreseeable future. So I think at this point going forward now, you know, I think it all just comes down to the updates that version 4 is going to bring, and then giving developers time to catch up. And I think by keeping your current, you know, version 3, it doesn't put pressure on the developers to have to rush to catch up. Because obviously they're busy working on new projects that they want to deliver. They're already making whatever modifications to current scenery so that when they're released, they're already version 4 compatible. But that allows them to get new stuff out and continue putting focus on current projects without having to, you know, rush through things. So at the very least, you have your version 3. It's solid. And as version 4 continues to get its updates and so on and so forth. I'm sorry, I got to take a look at what's going on over here. As version 4 continues to get its updates, so on and so forth, you can kind of run both and be happy with both, but never wind up in a position where your favorite add-on isn't working out or whatever it is. So especially for those of you who might come up with ways to install unofficially some of your favorite add-ons that may not really be fully compatible. So at least you can still continue to enjoy those. So I know I'm going to kind of drop this down real quick. I'm like, what are these open doors over here? You know, FlightBeam always doing something different, always adding extra detail. And I know that FlightBeam, they can put Easter eggs. I know, like for example, with Dulles, they put Bruce Willis in there, the diehard Bruce Willis in there, because in the film it takes place as Dulles, but in real life they shot it at LAX. So a lot of you probably don't know that, but that was actually LAX where that diehard film was shot. But yeah, he put Bruce Willis in there. And if you know where to find it, you'll find him. I saw some couple of open doors there. There's another one over here. He's actually not wearing his Air Daily X safety vest. We need to go and find his safety vest. Okay, let's see. This is just something new that FlightBeam's doing. Again, just trying to add that extra little bit of detail now. We're seeing kind of these like open doors here, which is kind of funny. Check your bag with the Fly Delta app. Yeah, I most certainly do. So anyway, that's pretty cute. And then of course you can see there we've got the internal modeling. I think there's something about static people or something in there. I think I saw in the thing. I don't remember. I don't necessarily see it here though. The jet bridge models are looking beautiful as always. I mean, again, there's only so much I can say. There's only one thing I'll point out, and I'll get to that shortly. Ooh, is this a texture bleed? Wait, what is this? This looks like a seam here. Where is that? Right over here. That's not a texture bleed, but there's a seam there. Always leave it to me to find all the the little nonsense. But I think I see a little seam here. There is a seam there. Yeah, you can kind of see through that. Yeah, that's not exactly attached, huh? Leave it to me to point out all the unnecessary stuff that no one else would probably notice. Oh, what does this sign say right here? I mean, every little bit of detail is here. Even like all the signs are where they would be. Seat belts. I mean, you know they got air flight access to this. They really did. And, I mean, the texture depth, everything here is just perfect. There's literally only so much I can say. So Pratt is asking me if I'm using V4, and, you know, I think I addressed that a number of times already. I am not in version 4 yet. I have not purchased the additional hard drive space that I need for it. And by the way, everyone should be using SSDs, so I hope everyone who's using Prepared that you are using SSDs. And one more thing I should point out. Do not cheapen out on your SSD. Do not buy, like, because I know, like, you know, a very good friend of mine, he knows who he is. He's like, yeah. I told him, you know, he's like, should I get V4? And I'm like, hell yeah, you should, but definitely get another hard drive, you know, because as the add-ons, as your add-ons are going to start to get updated and stuff, a lot of these add-ons you don't have to pay for updates, but you want to make sure you install the right add-ons in version 4. So, like I just said, you should keep version 3, but as you start to pile up on version 4 with your add-ons, it's better to just get another hard drive. So we went on Amazon and pulled up some feng shui freaking off-brand SSD 1 terabyte, and I'm like, dude, you can't do that. If people understand how SSDs work and how they degrade over time, you don't want to cheapen out on an SSD. You really don't, because the last thing you want to have happen is an SSD failure, or, you know, a lot of us, we expect our hard drives to last a fairly long period of time. You know, let me see. I've got one of my SSDs that's in here actually is a first generation Samsung Evo 500 gig, and I've had that now for I think about 5 years, and it still works great. I use that SSD for all my video games that I like to play, all my Oculus games and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, we expect our hard drives to last a long time, but if you cheapen out and you buy an El Cheapo hard drive, and then in year 3 it just starts to slow down and turn to shit, like, don't cheapen out. Spend the right money and get the right hard drive, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm holding out because just got back from vacation. I'm going to be going on another trip coming up in October. My current plans right now are to head over to the FlightSim show in Cosford. So, you know, all that stuff's going to cost money too. And of course, you know, there's other things. So, you know, as flight simulation goes, you know, even I have to budget things out because, you know, I'll look up and I'll drop easily $5,000 at a drop of an eye, you know, and I'm one of those Amazon addicts. So I'm constantly adding crap to my wish list and buying stuff. So, you know, my wife keeps me in check. So, you know, the next budget for these SSDs will probably be next month. Oh, there's a static, people. I was wondering where they were. Yeah, so that's why I'm not in version 4 yet. I'm not in a 100% hurry, but yeah, I mean, I easily dropped about $4,000 just over the last month alone. So yeah, that's going to take a minute. So, but yeah, don't cheapen out on an SSD. Make sure you get one that's going to have enough space to handle all your add-ons. And the great thing about it is you can go back and forth. So for example, whatever drive that your current version 3 is on, and then version 4 comes out, and then you reach that threshold where it's like, okay, I don't need version 3 now, I can let it go. Once you let it go, when version 5 or prepared comes out, now you can install it on that hard drive. So you can kind of go back and forth, back and forth. And personally, I would rather not have them both. Even if you have a heavy capacity hard drive, I wouldn't put them both on the same drive. That's just me. That's not to say that there'd be a problem with it. I just would rather have all the folder structures and everything completely separate from each other. So anyway, we've got some nice specular mapping here. We have that nice custom background image there, and you can kind of see inside. You've got your seats and departure boards. You've got some advertisement boards lit up there. Very nicely done. Going to head over to the night lighting here pretty soon. So another reason why this stream also I think is important is because now that FlightBeam is no longer on coatal, that also means no more try before you buy, which to me, there are some developers you don't need to try before you buy. You know, they've been around, they've proven themselves. FlightBeam is obviously one of them. You don't need a try before you buy to have a FlightBeam airport. You don't need a try before you buy to have a Flight Tampa airport. FSDT, I like a try before you buy, honestly, because sometimes the stuff is hit and miss. But with that said, if that means getting off a coatal, then I'm fine with that. Look at how sharp the brick, the mortar work here is. Very nicely done. I mean, just captures it so well. You can see the cracks there in the brick. Very, very, very nicely detailed. And so anyway, going back to what I was saying about MSP and not looking all like, you know, aesthetically pleasing airport. I know to a lot of you it is. But, you know, with Dulles, in the same case with Dulles, FlightBeam just has a way of making me fall in love with it because they are just so damn good at what they do. So when they released Denver, I really wasn't all that hot about Denver, to be honest with you. I really wasn't. Look at that, they have like one of these malfunctioning boards here. And then when FlightBeam released it, it instantly became my favorite mega airport, like overnight. And then Flight Tampa released Sydney and Toronto, and then, you know, and then FlightBeam came back and released what's that airport? San Francisco, and then so now it's like I'm torn between San Francisco and Sydney because those are my two favorite mega airports. But then Denver is still one of my favorite airports. I like to see Phoenix get some updated love. Phoenix still looks beautiful for what it is. I mean, it doesn't really need updated love, but that doesn't mean to say that I wouldn't still like to see it get like an update with some of the newer FlightBeam, visual features. I think would be nice. And Pratt's asking, DeAndre, you ever use X-Plane 11? Again, Pratt, you came into the stream really late. So these questions you're asking, I already addressed, so I would definitely recommend you go back and watch the stream from scratch. But basically what I was saying with the SSDs is I need to buy two 1 terabyte SSDs, and that's specifically for that purpose, having one for prepared, version 4, because that needs its own SSD because of all of my add-ons. I don't plan to have very many add-ons for X-Plane 11 and Aerofly FS, so both of those will share a 1 terabyte SSD. I do not have any more space for any more add-ons or any more flight sim platforms. Ooh, there's some more texture bleeding there through the glass. I don't have any more space, so It's gonna cost a good $1,000 in order for me to catch up to those platforms. So, yeah. So you're asking if I'm ever going to get into it. I am going to get into it. I'm really excited about getting into it, but it's going to take time. So I know a lot of people want to just quickly jump up and say, "Oh, he's just biased." Which, don't get me wrong, hell yeah, I'm biased towards prepared version 4. It's the best thing we've got going right now. I think with X-Plane, what it does well, it does extremely well, but where it falls short enough for me to still stay away from it. And I think if X-Plane could get those key areas together, I think it'd be great. But the problem with X-Plane is it will never be driven by third-party add-ons, and that's what I like. I'm a flight simulation enthusiast. I always have been. And when I talk about flight sim add-ons, I talk about it as an enthusiast, not as a media correspondent that's supposed to be objective. I talk about what I like, because that's what I do. I do things my way. So, because X-Plane has established itself as building your own airports and everything being free, a lot of developers, that, their entire income and livelihood is based on third-party add-ons. If, the X-Plane community isn't prepared to start spending large amounts of money on add-ons, and they go through the trouble of delivering these add-ons and they don't make any money, X-Plane will never really fully take off as a top-tier platform, in my opinion. It's not to say that what it's capable of doesn't make it a top-tier platform. I definitely think it is. But if third-party developers are not interested in it, which right now overwhelmingly they are not, that limits its usability. So at least for me, because I thrive on third-party add-ons. A website like AirDailyX cannot exist without third-party add-ons, and if I only covered X-Plane as an example, I would never have anything to talk about. So, that's a big part of it. But I'm looking forward to getting into it and being able to cover it more and getting into their add-ons. I mean, I think they've made a lot of really exciting improvements. One downside that I can say about it as it is I did try the demo that they released back in December of last year, and right now I can run prepared all sliders maxed and still get a decent 25 to 30 frames per second with a heavy aircraft. With X-Plane, the sliders are barely halfway through and it's a slideshow. So that was, I found that to be a little bit disappointing. Why is the performance so tough with this platform? So, I'm sure X-Plane fans will have a reason for that. I don't know what that reason is, but yeah, it didn't really work all that well for me. So, but that's not to say that I've given up on it. I'm just simply saying that that's my first experience. So I have to start getting into the X-Plane forums, and I have to start learning with a new platform, what settings work, what settings don't work. When it comes to prepared, we don't max everything out. I never fly with everything maxed out, because you fly with everything maxed out and prepared, and it doesn't look all that great. Prepared looks great when it is tuned a certain way, and then you throw in your PTA and your whatever that other one is called that escapes me at the moment. Once you start throwing all that stuff in, it can look great with settings that are not maxed out. And I'm sure X-Plane has its sweet spot. That's the word I'm looking for. Prepared has its sweet spot, and everyone's sweet spot is different. Right now I'm not running mine at my sweet spot right now, because I usually don't use HDR, which is what I'm using right now. But every add-on has it, or every platform has its sweet spot, and it's about learning what the sweet spot is for X-Plane. So rather than say negative things, when I haven't really fully thoroughly dived into it, it's better that I get the proper hard drive, start doing the proper research, and then get into it properly. So that way, when I start talking about X-Plane, I'll at least know what I'm talking about. And right now, if I talk about X-Plane, I really don't know what I'm talking about all that much, other than the things about X-Plane 10 that were so strong, they were strong enough to keep me away from it. So I hope I did answer your question. I am definitely looking forward to looking into it. It's just going to take a little bit more time. Stuff costs money. And mind you, I have a budget for hobbies, and flight simulation is not my only hobby. So, yeah. Anyway, so just taking a look here at the satellite terminals and the where we park all of our lovely RJs here. These cute little jet bridges here, looking very nice. The next step here, because I think we've pretty much seen most of the airport. I don't think there's much that I didn't show yet. We'll just kind of, this is the post office over here. We're going to take a look at the night lighting And the winter textures, we're going to whip out our little TFDI 717, which has become one of the best airplanes ever created for Flight Simulator. Although, they still need to work on that night lighting a little bit. But terrific airplane, so we're going to whip that out. Hope you guys got the latest update from that. And definitely look forward to the interview with TFDI as well. I think that interview was like almost an hour. Some of these interviews that were pretty long. We got into a lot of details, a lot of stuff. So here we are, looking very good. Of course, this is sitting on top of the kind of like the imagery, but out this far out, I ain't gonna really make a big deal. Stuff like this usually I don't make a big deal, especially when it comes to mega airports. There's so much trade-off that you have to do when you're building something this big. And it has to work. You have to be able to get solid performance with it as well. Alright, so I'm going to switch over to night lighting and winter textures. And that's where I'm going to point out the one thing about the airport scenery that I didn't really like. I won't say I didn't like it. I'll just say where it kind of came up short. And here we have a very lovely looking Delta hangar here. Again, all the textures very crisp. The AI look better than, the statics look better than AI here. This is just really, really remarkable. Alright, so let's go ahead and, alright, we're going to get ready to say goodbye to our little well, should we? No, we shouldn't yet. Not just yet. Again, this Cerasim is on sale right now. I think it's, 20% off or something like that. So if you are a helicopter fan, you're interested in flying helicopters, I definitely recommend this one. Again, I'm coming across a couple of bugs in version 3. I sent them an email to ask them what's going on with version 4. I don't know if they're going to respond. I've heard from a lot of people that they are not good at responding, Cerasim. So we will find out about that. So let's go to winter textures. And I did double check. There's no winter textures. In fact, let me do this for you before we take another step. Hang on a second. FlightBeam. Let's take a look at FlightBeam's new add-on manager here. Don't tell me I have to close it. I hate that. I just wanted to show it. Oh well, I wanted to show the new add-on manager. Anyway, that's okay. Let's go to winter. Because the thing is this is an area that they did right with Denver, but then I don't know what happened with MSP, and it could have been that the airport was running so long that maybe that might have been a feature creep decision for FlightBeam, maybe. Time and season. We'll just go to February. I think February should be a decent season. I do have Air Hauler. I think it's still like an early access. I really want to start getting back into that too because I want to make my own airline. Flying GA aircraft. Well, okay, so Ross tells us that his other hobby is hookers and blow. Okay, all right. Well, I've never ever considered, actually the only airline I ever considered joining VA was Metro. Was it Metro Air, I think? I actually joined up for them like 10 years ago, and I never really got the full swing of VATSIM and all that stuff, and then I kind of like, oh, this is more than 10 years. I might have been 15 years ago. But I think if I were to fly for VA, I'd probably definitely do Delta VA. I got an opportunity to fly with Delta VA when I was in New York, flying that lovely 737 DOF in Midtown Manhattan. That thing was pretty damn amazing. And he flies with Delta VA, so we got to do that. And not only that, but I like the 717, so I would definitely fly that in the Delta livery. Okay, so one area where I'm confused is, and I'm not sure if I'm getting this wrong, but the grass is still green, and I'm not sure why, because in the control or in the configuration manager, there's nothing there that separates winter textures. And in fact, sorry, your screen's going to go black here because I just want to make sure that I'm looking at this right, because I'm pretty sure I went over this. FlightBeam MSP. There's got to be a manual in here, right? FlightBeam Manager. FlightBeam Manager. User Documents. Configurator. English. Okay, we can still look at this really quickly. Sorry. Where did it go? Where are you? So I don't think if I remember correctly, I didn't see anything in here about. Oh, there is a season switcher. Ah, shit! I did miss that. Ah, damn it! Why did I miss that? Where is it? Oh, is it under the troubleshooting tab? I don't know how I missed it. There is a season switcher, and somehow I missed it. I don't know how I missed that. So, you know what? Because you know what? They might have addressed that thing that I was talking about, and maybe I just missed it because for some reason I didn't see it in the season switcher. So, but it didn't have anything to do with the green grass. What it had to do with was, if you go back and look at the live stream that I did with Yo Airland, we did Trondheim Farms, which, by the way, that's another scenery I highly recommend that was released last month. Terrific airport. Go get Trondheim. But I loved how in the winter, the whole airport is just buried in snow. I mean, he likes to go the extra mile and put snow on the roofs of the buildings and stuff, which I think is still cool. But like when you're taxiing down the taxiway is covered in snow debris, which is real. And one of the things that I pointed out in the MBS stream was that it's just too clean. We're in the middle of winter. This is the Midwest, which gets killed with heavy winter. And the runways and the aprons and the taxiways and the ramps and everything are just like perfectly clean, like it's July. And then you get these little patches of snow in between where dirt would be. So that kind of like, yeah, that like developers, that's the next thing I'm going to start harping on besides my parking lots is winter textures. So in this case, there's some fluttering textures down there. So in this case, there is a season switcher. So I tell you what we're going to do, because I'm going to have to stop and restart the simulator to make sure that I'm displaying that properly. So in the meantime, we're going to look at night lighting, and I'm going to come back out of these winter textures just because we are definitely not seeing that accurately. Time and season. What the hell is it? So I'm just going to go back to summer for right now. And let's take a look at the night lighting as well. Yeah. Hey, Rolio. Yeah, you know what? I don't really fly the QW757. I do when I get desperate, but I just it doesn't really feel like the real thing. And to be honest with you, like, I think if Captain Sim released their 757 for P3D, that would be well enough to hold me over until Level D gets theirs out. Because at least with the 757 from Captain Sim, I've flown that one for so many years, and it's buggy as hell, and there are so many things that are, like, not quite, like, accurate with it. But at the very least, like, I got so used to getting around those things that it was still very much enjoyable. So, yeah. Okay, so what is it? Grimdar saying MSP is all white too. You have to change the manager. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I didn't see that, and I swear I looked for it. I swear I looked for it. But that's okay. I'm going to do it the right way. In the meantime, you know what? Hang on. I'm just going to like slow this down for a second because, sorry, I need to look at where I am with the night lights. Oh, look at the specular mapping on the ground here, by the way. Do you guys see that? The ground textures are fantastic. I just noticed that just now. Look at that. I'll kind of pan really quickly here. Very nicely done. You know what it is now? You remember, it was funny. I was talking to my wife yesterday because I saw, I don't know, if you're American if you're reasonably in your 30s or 40s or older, you might remember this car. The Lincoln Mark 7. For some of you older guys, you guys remember the Lincoln Mark 7? Well, my dad bought one of those back in the 80s. And at the time, that car was like one of the most technologically advanced cars like ever made. And it was really a pain in the ass car. But I think Ford just was like, we're going to toss as many features into this car that no one has ever done, like the air suspension and power seats and all this stuff that no one else was really doing at the time. It had an onboard computer. And anyway, so let me see when the lights turn on. Okay, so we're going to preview this time. Yes, we would. But anyway, so a lot of features that car had. Anyway, I was telling her about that car because the car had this automated trunk. So when you close the trunk, it would latch, and then there was a motor that would kick in, and it would go, and then it would, like, once it latched, the trunk would then close itself the rest of the way down. And so what wound up happening was one day my finger got caught in that thing. And anyway, I saw when I was a kid, I think I was like 7 years old or some crap, and my finger got caught in that automated trunk thing. Oh, no! What the hell? All right, well, you know what? I was going to have to restart it anyway. So, okay. Let's just get that out of the way now. Anyway, so we were talking about that. But anyway, so the only reason why I bring that up is because, you know, what was unusual. Oh, you know what? Let's pull up that config manager, too, while we're up in here. FlightBeam, 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 FlightBeam. There you are. Okay, winter. There it is. Why is it, like, up in my face now, but it wasn't before? Ooh, it's got an update, too. I bet you they just updated it while I was doing the stream. They were like, oh, crap, that scene. Let's update that real quick. Okay, chase plane. You can relax. I don't know why that's freezing up. Okay, just go. You know what? There's one more thing I do need to do. Migration tool. Let me turn this off. Now this says update available MSP. Okay, how do I update it? Oh, start. Okay, let's do this real quick. Actually, since this is here. But yeah, so what happened was, yeah, so with that particular car, a lot of stuff that we'd never really seen, like for example, one thing was if someone has high beams in your rear view mirror, the rear view would adjust and you know, it would physically either move or it would like tint itself somehow or whatever. Anyway, it was an interesting car. Okay, application restart, not PC restart, right? Okay. So anyway, a lot of stuff that was new in that car is now, you know, they're basically considered features that come in every car, like they're common features now, basically. So in the case of how that pertains to flight simulation now, a lot of, you know, a developer would do something and be like, man, that's a really awesome feature. And now things that we thought were awesome features, you know, maybe as short as maybe 3 years ago, are now just common features across like almost every developer now. So it's nice to see that sort of specular mapping. Okay, so 625, this was updated. Fixed transparency issues with FSX SODE jetways. By the way, SODE, I used to hate it. I now love it. Man, it's really gotten stable. And I think now a lot of developers actually have come to me and they said, do you recommend SODE? Do you think we should do it? And my answer has been yes. It is very stable now, and it's like the next big thing for enhancing your airport and bringing it to life, and I think it's worth it. So any developers watching this that are wondering if you should use SODE, you should. The way I understand the way it works, I should start P3D soon, is you just reach out to the guy who runs it, and he does all this jet bridge animation. He does all that stuff for you. Hangar animation, all that. Like, you just pay him a fee, and he just does all the work. Like, anyway, so, yeah, SODE is great. It's really changed a lot, and that's one of the things now that's also becoming a standard feature. That was something that was like a nice add-on, like a sunroof now. It's like it's becoming a stock feature. So, fix gate G17 jetway in the way of stop line. Fix issues with gates G4, G6 jetways occasionally sinking into the ground. Fix AI aircraft not being able to use the Alpha Bravo concourse. Fix several AFCAT gate positions too close to terminal jetways. Fix Hotel 6 AFCAT position offset. Some grass polygons tweaked or removed. Added custom GSX files defining positions for GSX service vehicles. Fixed issue with photo wheel ground disappearing under the aircraft. Was that what we were experiencing? I'm not sure. After installing the update, please reset the scenery to default. This is required to fix a small bug with the initial release. Reset to default. Okay, and now we're going to go to winter. Can I do that, Mir? Is that okay? I don't know why I didn't see that before. I'm just an idiot. I mean, you all know that I'm an idiot, but still. I just don't know why I didn't see that. Anyway, this is the new FlightBeam Manager. So I thought it'd be good to look at this, and so that you know where my settings are. I've got everything pretty much on. I didn't see the water. Oh, the water effects. Yeah, we did see that. Okay, volumetric RAS, daytime lights are off. Let's turn those on. Why not? Terminal detail is normal. Oh, and they do have a low version, too. Look at that. You can kind of see the difference. I don't know. Well, yeah, there are some folks that might need to use a low. Okay, okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and restart prepared. Okay, let me catch up to some of the comments here, too. Someone mentioned about Windows 10. Yeah, screw that, man. Screw that. Whatever that... Okay, so this says leave it open so we can look. Oh, it's been disabled. Okay, well, let's just get rid of it. At least so now you guys get to see the new FlightBeam Configuration Manager. Really nicely done. And that was like part of the 29 Palms things, I think. Here's another thing, too. 29 Palms is, I mean, those guys, I love those guys. And if you need, oh, bye, Rolio. If you need a configuration manager for your scenery, go to 29 Palms. They will hook that whole thing up for you. And that's the other thing I love about developers working together now is one developer will develop something really great, and rather than keep it to themselves, you know, they're opening it up for other developers and they're helping each other out. And that was part of what our whole not hidden, but closed door meeting with all the developers over at FlightSimCon. You know, was, you know, you guys working together with each other and kind of sharing technologies and stuff. And, you know, this is a great example of that. Anyway, let me see. Ruler says we need ADX Airways. That'd be interesting. You guys are welcome to. I don't know who would sign up. Oh, Lars from 29 Palms is here. I was just talking about him when I'm strolling up and I saw that he's there. Look at that. And he's saying, yeah, the guys are right. Use the manager to switch seasons. Oh, that's so funny. You never know who's watching a stream. Let's see. Oh, Rossi, excuse me, she said I made a computer problems with Williamson upgrade and had to do a lot of work to get it working again. Yeah, only work I had to do was rolling it back. That Windows 10 Creative Update, man, that screwed up everything. It really screwed up everything. And I think the reason why I was so shocked that I was still getting 30 frames per second with 100% AI here was because the last time I tried it, it was when I upgraded the Creators Edition, and I was getting like barely 20, barely 15 frames per second. Like, it was so much crap running around in the background. It really screwed me up. It really screwed me up. So... now that I rolled it all back now, it's like no biggie now. Everything is working just fine. Okay. Let's grab the TFDI 717. We'll go to winter. We'll take a look at those winter textures. We'll taxi around a little bit. Maybe I'll take off and kind of fly around the scenery a little bit. Let's see. Oh, yeah, QW engine. Oh, 757. Yeah, I love the 757. I think it's a beautiful, sexy looking airplane. It's powerful. Yeah, nothing can match that. All right. By the way, I couldn't figure out how to get my Delta livery in here. That's 720, so what the hell was that? Come on. There it is. I got to get my Delta livery up on here. All right, so we're going to go to winter, which, let's go January, February. What else do I need to do here? Oh, yeah, let's make it look like it's like all snowy-like. If I do heavy snows, is that going to look bad like in a live stream? I don't know. Let's go overcast, make it look like all snowy-like. Distance to 10 miles. You know, I'll leave the precipitation off for right now just in case. Well, maybe I'll turn it on. Let's try that. Advanced. Base. We'll make these clouds really thick. Okay. Oh, shit. I forgot to select the airport. Whoops, sorry. Okay. Anyway. Let's see. Yeah, 29 Palms have done this for quite a few, actually. Lars is on vacation. Where are you, Lars, on vacation? You somewhere down in the islands or what? The community says no. Where is Mir? I know. You know, it's funny because Mir was actually in LA when I was on the East Coast. That's why he didn't go to FlightSimCon. He was at E3, and I missed the whole thing. The Dovetail people actually came out here as well. Dovetail people. And then I missed them as well because they came straight out here from the East Coast, and I was still there. I was still there chasing down all of my latest New York City developments. So it'd be great if Javietsky Design can update that New York City so I can do another stream on that. A lot of people really liked that New York City stream that I did because they liked my knowledge of New York City, so, and all the various buildings and all that. So if Javietsky, if they manage to update that, I've got a lot of new stories I think you guys will like. Anyway. Oh, and 29 Palms I think is on sale, right? So yeah, like, go grab that. Ooh, look at these, like, look at the effects on the ground. Holy crap, that looks cool. Are you guys seeing that? That looks pretty awesome. I don't know if this makes any difference, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Probably it doesn't, but I'm just curious. Wait, why is there still green vegetation here? Why is it, like, frozen? Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Is it going to crash again? Uh-oh. I don't know what's happening. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I guess I just needed a minute. How's my frame rates? What am I getting here right now? 40 frames per second right now. Okay, 39, 40 frames per second. Oh, it's still loading, though. Oh, wait a minute. This ain't the damn scenery. Duh, I forgot to select the airport. I was like, why is it something looks so weird here? But this water effects on the ground looks pretty nice, though. That wet look looks pretty cool. But that's not even the right airport. I was like, wait, something looks wrong. I'm out of it, man. I go back to work tomorrow. All right. All right, there we go. All right, let's try this again. Ooh, Lars is asking any other small airports on the wish list in the Nevada area. Oh, Lars, you will get an email. I can tell you, I don't want to give away too much. Ken Hall, great guy, lovely guy, Ken Hall. He was at the convention this year, and he's working, can I say, ooh, I probably should keep my mouth shut. I don't know if they mentioned anything yet. Let's just say Ken Hall's coming to America. Can I say that out loud? Am I going to get in trouble? But Lars, if you're eyeballing airports in that region, hit me up so I can let you know what's in development right now. So there's no doubling of efforts. But heck yeah, I think we could definitely use some airports. I see the thing with 29 Palms. I love how he captured that desert, the desert essence of Southern California, and I'm really looking forward to that other scenery coming out from Orbix as well. I forgot the name of it already, but yeah. And who knows, if FlightSimCon goes to Vegas anyway, people will want some airports in the region. And Flight Tampa's doing all of Las Vegas. I don't know if they're doing the other airports like the executive one, so that could be. Yeah, Lars, I'd love to see you do another airport in that region too. Heck yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely yeah. After the stream, I'll yeah, I can't wait for Nuremberg too. You have no idea how long that Aerosoft Nuremberg survived in my flight simulator because I just was so desperate to have that airport. And Captain Sevens, man, he's come a long way too. Oh, yeah, I didn't put 29 Palms on that list. Yeah, I didn't finish that. I segue so much. But I was talking about, you know, all the top-end developers, and yeah, 29 Palms too. That, right, Samos, right? Not Corfu, because I tend to get those two confused. Man, what a beautiful airport. Okay, so here we go. We are gonna see. All right, I knew Mir wouldn't let me down. Fuck, I knew he wouldn't let me down. I was like, I have one negative thing to say about this airport. There it is. Ooh, there's still some green patch there though. Is this still loading? Why do I feel like this is still loading? It's done, right? Oh, you know what though? Wait a minute. I think I know what's up. Hang on a second. Options, settings. Hang on. Like maybe that was too bright. There's still some green patches here though. But at least now, okay. At least now he shut me up about the snow. So I'm not tripping on that anymore, but I'm still seeing some green patches here, though. So that's, or it could be the time of year that I selected. Maybe this is not really. Hey Ross, when's the best? Like, when's your worst heavy snow? Like, what day of the month on average is like the worst for Minneapolis? Out of curiosity. Let me go back to lighting. Whenever the stream catches up from the delay. Oh crap, I forgot that I'm still in desktop mode. Whoops. There we go. Alright, looks like we got some flickering textures down here too. There's actually a lot of flickering textures here, huh? Oops, sorry. There's a lot of flickering textures here. I'm seeing a lot of textures dancing around. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me move this above the Orbix stuff real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm thinking that must be a cause. Let's move that back to the top. Where is it? FlightBeam, FlightBeam, FlightBeam. Where are you? FlightBeam. No, it is on the top. You know, this is a weird one. I don't know if anyone can explain this, but does anyone know why this is ghosted out like that, these top two? Why is this ghosted? Maybe they're ghosted so they don't move. So MSP is above Orbix. By default, it is above Orbix. So I don't know why I'm having that problem. That's interesting. Because I was seeing a lot of those ground texture flickerings and stuff, but now I'm like really seeing it. Maybe it's chase plane. Maybe let me go to the normal external view. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's chase plane. Maybe that camera, maybe it just doesn't like that camera. You know what? I think that's what it was. I think it's the chase plane camera. I think that particular camera was causing, yeah, I don't see any more flickering textures now, I don't think, do I? No, I don't think so. Okay, so I think that was the chase plane camera doing that. Alright. Damn, I wish I had a Delta livery installed here because it would look so much better. Alright, so, okay, let's see here. Actually, I'm going to leave this time preview for a minute. God, this looks great now that it's all white and snowy. This looks really good. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Chase plane. Oh, yeah, he's saying it's chase plane. There's a fix for it, something in the INI file about clipping. Okay, I'll have to look in that. And then, of course, I do use the unstable mode of chase plane, so, okay. What else? It's grayed out because it uses the new recommended installation method where we don't need to touch core simulator files like the scenery CFG anymore. And then Ross says to ungrade, go back into the scenery CFG. No, we'll leave it like this. This looks fine. This looks very white and snowy. This is what I was trying to accomplish. This is what I like. So no, I'm happy with this. What I do want to do though is try to see if I can like quick start this thing real quick. Yeah, I just want to... Oh, crap. How do I get that back? It's like down here somewhere, right? There. Okay. Although I can't hear the engines, but that's all right. Yeah, I just want to taxi around a bit. So just let me go back and look at my... Oh crap, chase plane. What happened? Okay, let me restart chase plane now because I lost track IR again. Come on. Alright, there it goes. Okay. What are my frame rates? Now, mind you, I have no... Okay, yeah, I'm getting 30 frames per second. That's with no... that's with no AI, though. Okay. Can I, like, back up off the glare shield here? There she is. Alright, that works. And, okay. Let's taxi around a little bit. Oh, wait, am I still in window mode? Let me make sure I'm not. Nope, okay. Let's taxi around here a little bit. Can you guys hear the airplane? Like, it is so quiet, I can't hear it. I'm gonna turn that up a little bit more here. Playback. Damn it, that's not the right button. Alright, I hope that's not too loud. If it is, let me know. I just wanted to look around here, man. Look at that. I'm so like tempted to put some airplanes in here, but I know it's like gonna bring the show to a halt. But you know what? You know what FlightBeam could have done? Actually, you know what they probably should have done? Because their statics are so good, they should have added an option. So Mir, if you're gonna do another update to MSP, maybe put some more statics out there. Some like those beautiful 757s, put some more of those at the gate. Maybe some MD-80s, some 717 CRJs. I know that'd take a lot of work because you'd have to do multiple airlines too. But like, I would be content with just having static here, just to have some more planes at the gate, because it really does look fantastic. Oh my god, dude, this might be my next favorite airport. I'm not even attracted to MSP, but this airport looks so damn good. Jeez, this looks good.
Stabilizer. Flaps. Stabilizer. Flaps. Stabilizer.
Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Betty be
Landing
bitching,
gear.
huh? Damn.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
I just said fuck it and took off. I didn't really intend to do that. I was like, what the heck? Let's fly around some of this scenery, especially with the winter textures too. I really want to see it. Yeah, this all looks. See, there we go. This is what I was hoping to see. This all looks great. Something that's like really loud. Alright, let's see. Okay, let's go back and land somewhere. Let's just circle the airport a little bit. I mean, look at the frozen lakes there, and yeah, okay. Never mind. I thought I was gonna, for the first time, have something negative to say about a FlightBeam airport, but it turned out to be my screw up, which makes perfect sense. I'll just kind of circle the airport around a little bit. This looks so great. Oh my gosh. This is the way winter is supposed to look like. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Rock's saying high def static will hurt the frame rate. Will they really? I don't think they will hurt it as much as AI will, because AI, the system has to. I think what, a lot of what kills the frame rate is the system having to move all those aircraft around. And I think in the case with statics, it's just part of the scenery. That's what I think anyway. Pressy's asking, do those screens work? Are you talking about the iPad? Yes. That has all the aircraft configuration options in the iPad there. Yeah, I can't wait to start streaming in version 4, like I said. So what's going to happen is I'll probably will grab the P3D SSD so I can get started with that right away, and then probably towards the end of the summer is when I'll start getting into X-Plane, and because I am kind of desperate to get version 4 reinstalled. And I know a lot of people are waiting to start seeing streams in there too. So, Pressy's asking what add-ons do I have. You'd be better off asking me what add-ons do I not have. Pretty much. Right, here we go. I'm gonna nail it now. I'm gonna try to swing in here and
landing gear.
On that second.
Landing
maybe I'll come
gear.
in on this one. Maybe I can. Let me see.
Landing
maybe if
gear.
I hit that rudder like really tight. Nah, I don't think I can hit this runway. Let me see where it's at. Nah, that's too close. I'll come in on the next one. I'm like way too damn high though. Look at the frozen lake here. And I'm not seeing those double bridges. I think maybe that update was what I needed to do. It looks like the update cleared out a lot of the stuff here. So that's good. You got some bridges there. That's nice. I'm way too high. Yeah, at least we get a nice look at those that custom lighting too, huh? Actually, you know what? No, let's screw this landing real quick. Hang on a second. Stabilizer
1,000.
motion. Stabilizer motion.
Stabilizer motion.
Thank you, honey.
Stabilizer
Do
motion.
it again.
Stabilizer motion.
Thank you. All right. You know what? Let me do this real quick. know it's not accurate, but I just want to see. That's not the proper time preview, but at least I want to take a look. I'm so curious. So the surroundings look terrific. Really happy with the surroundings here. Look at that bridge too. I think FlightBeam did the exact. I think they did the perfect amount of surroundings for this airport. I still wish there were a downtown MSP though. I looked around online to see if I could find a freeware, because it would be, because those buildings are close enough that if they were detailed, you could still fairly see them from the airport. But overall, though, I'm not complaining. This all looks really great. Man. Freaking FlightBeam, man. What's my frame rates right now? I'm still getting 30 frames per second. I don't know if it really matters what frames per second I'm getting. I think what matters is number one, I'm streaming. But based on what you can see at home on your computer or your iPhone or whatever, does this look smooth enough? You know. This is super smooth. See which one of these runways am I gonna? Oh, what's that pause? Oh, something's paused. What happened? What? What? You gotta be fucking kidding me now. Son of a bitch. This was all going so well. Let's do it one more time. All right, what time is it? It's 3:50. I want to be done in 15 minutes. So let's quickly. I'm gonna quickly now. We got to fly around and look. I don't know what happened there. That's the second time it's crashed. So let's get back on the ground. I'm going to taxi around. We're going to look at the night lighting, and we're pretty much going to call it. So let's aim for 3:15. That gives us 25 more minutes. And I know my wife is waiting for me, even though I'm trying to do this what do they call them? Intermittent diets or whatever, where you don't eat for 16 hours a day. And dinner time will be coming up here in about another couple hours. So, all right. Yeah, that's V3 for you. It's funny, too, because when I was conducting the interview with Noble Flight Simulation, you know, he had all of those beautiful freaking G1000 units and everything all laid out up there, and then he had prepared version 3.4 running in the background, and just for no reason, it just crashed, like, for no freaking reason. We're just like, what the hell? That's prepared. Like, it just... So anyway, yeah. Yeah, I'll be eyeballing that SSD for next month. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the next couple of months are going to be really interesting, like I said. I'm hoping to spend some more time in New York and hopefully in England in October. I'll probably be in Australia for a month. I don't know if that's going to be in September or July. I don't know. Nothing is firm on that. But if I am, I'll probably be down there for probably about a month. So... if that happens, that's going to obviously have a huge effect on getting streams and getting prepared V4 and everything loaded up. So I don't know yet. I'm not really sure when I can get everything up fully working. But believe me when I tell you, it is at the top of my list of things to do. But what I love seeing is people saying P3D V4 is a shit, no crashes for me. Yeah, and that's the thing is I just don't want to put prepared version 4, even though I've got a whopping total of like 10 terabytes worth of space on my desk, but I don't want to put prepared V4 on anything but a high quality SSD, and my SSDs are packed. Well, that's not exactly true. I do have another 500 gig SSD, but I use that for my video games, so I'm not going to put prepared on that one. And because that's my oldest one, I definitely don't want to put P3D on an old one. I'd rather put it on a new one. So I'll just hold out. You don't want to land a beaver in a frozen lake. Thanks for reminding me. I think that's the first thing I'll do on my beaver stream coming up next weekend when I get calling from Milviz up in here. All right, give me a minute. Crap. I've really been wanting to do streams in Oculus because I was flying around in that helicopter earlier today. But the thing is in Oculus, it's that one little narrow screen, and you can't widen it. And I just felt like, I don't know. I kind of felt like that doesn't look good for a stream because I can't get a full wide screen. Same thing that goes for Aerofly, which is another simulator that I love. Okay. Minnesota. Let's go back to winter day. I think there's always more snow in February. Okay, is that it? All right, guys, let's go back again. Let's do this one more time. Right now, we're just going to focus on the night lighting, taxiing around the airport from the VC perspective. Again, when it comes to FlightBeam, you really don't need... How long has this stream been going for? 2:07, damn. When it comes to FlightBeam, you really don't need a stream, to be honest. The same thing goes for Flight Tampa. But it's still good to do them. I mean, it gets to the point where it's kind of sad that I don't have anything new. Because I always want to have something I can say, you know what, they can improve on this and improve on that. And I know there are developers that look for that, like what's the next level of improvement. For FlightBeam, what can they do that they're not already doing? I don't know. I mean, and that makes me like disappointed with myself. You know, I admittedly I haven't spent that much time really looking at the scenery in depth. I've been mostly flying sorties back and forth to MBS. But he shut me up on the winter thing. I don't really know, because the big thing with the winter thing is make an airport completely covered. You know what? All right, here's two things. So one thing would be like Ross said, which is moving people in the terminal, which is a technology I already know that they're working on. So I don't really need to bring that up. But maybe putting snow on the roofs. I don't know. Maybe that's another. I don't know. I'm like, what's the next? Like, what's the next thing that FlightBeam specifically could do that they haven't done? Damn. Yeah, they could put snow on the roofs, but you know, if their next airport isn't in a snowy location, which Portland is. Are you serious? I ran out of memory and I'm just loading? All right. I think the stream just doesn't want to end. Snow buildup. I did like the what Joe Erlin did in Trondheim, where he has those de-icer guys come out as part of SODE. I'm not sure if there's anything done here, but that would be a cool thing where you pull up to the de-icing pad and you know the trucks pull up. You know, oh, the other thing too with Trondheim as well, people piling up on the jet bridge. But the problem with doing that in America is America doesn't really do glass jet bridges. I think there's only like 1 or 2 airports in the whole country that has glass jet bridges. So that'd be more of a European thing. And now it's doing this shit again. I don't see. Whenever I use chase plane and then I use fly inside, everything screws up. Those two are still not working with each other. It'll work on the second run though. There it goes. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Those two still don't like to work with each other. So every time I want to use chase plane, I have to delete my cameras folder. But the problem is if I delete it too soon and chase plane starts up right when fly inside starts up P3D, they conflict. Oh, first world flight simulator problems. I tell you, life is tough. Does TFDI fly by GPS? No, I don't think so. I've never tried that. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it would. I mean, if you're just looking for a lazy way to fly it, you could always just snap the heading bug and go. I admit, I do that a lot. When I get too lazy, I do that. I find myself doing that more often than not, to be honest, because I have so little time to fly lately. It's not even funny. So, yeah, I had a couple crashes. Give me like 15 more minutes. Okay. I know she's waiting for me. That's why. Ross says 31 years of playing flight sim, still confused setting up flights with FMC. Well, the thing with the FMC is you got to have charts, because you got to know where shit is. That's like the big thing. So the problem with charts is charts are not cheap. Like charts are, you know, if you like, I had a 4-flight subscription. That's just so expensive. But what you can do is if you buy, and they just dropped the price, I think, to $20. If you buy Sim Control, all of the U.S. charts come for free built into it, and that's what I've been using with that. Is you can use Sim Control, and in fact, if you're going to Cosford, TFDI will have Sim Control on display with the 717, and in fact, I should get a live stream together with both TFDI and Sim Control, so that we can kind of show all that stuff off. We'll put something together. But yeah, that's a good way to get quick and easy charts. The other thing too is you can use the Aerosoft PFPX thingy. I've never used it, but I imagine that would be a great way to do it, because I think it interjects that stuff into the FMC for certain aircraft directly, right? Or something like that, I think. I don't know. But my thing is I just don't know where stuff is. So, you know, you have to know where your SIDS and stars and stuff are. And a lot of people, they know it by heart because they fly into the same airport every time. But for me, I have to reference charts. So, all right. Let's do this one more time. You know what? Should I not get the 717 again? Like, that's what's killing my... But I did that whole flight, and it was working so great. And when it crashed, it had absolutely nothing to do with VAS. It just CTD'd because it's a pain in the ass. All right. Yeah, I know. X-Plane people like, we don't have that problem. And then P3DV4 people were like, neither do we. Fool. All right, let's do this one more time. You guys are so patient. It's funny that number on the stream never drops when I run into hell. Like, you guys just keep on watching. You guys are weird. Okay, let's try one more time and not CTD on load up. Please don't. Sim brief to create the latest flight plan on the latest AirX cycle, putting in all the info, and then you activate it. When you activate, yeah, you activate it, and then what are you flying? VNav, LNav. Oh, Langdon said the heli is the best bit. You know, I actually wanted to show off a little bit more of that helicopter too. If I can manage to wrap this up within the next 15 minutes, I'll show you really quickly the nice visual features of that helicopter. It's got a nice control panel where you can open up everything, and the wheel chocks and the engines open up, and you can see the radome, and it's a great helicopter. In fact, like, I wish that now that Nimith is gone, like Sarasim really, they should be dominating the helicopter industry for flight simulation, along with them and like Milviz. But the thing is helicopter add-ons are so few and far in between. ERS, they do a decent job when they're working with others. They did update the old Nimith S76, and it's a piece of shit. I mean, I'm so happy that they did it. They got it working and prepared. It looks its age, but I mean, it's, for an S76 for a freeware, I mean, it's great. The problem is the flight dynamics are freaking terrible. It was just unflyable. Oh my God, there it is again. Why are so many of them popping up at once? How do you explain that? Oh man. All right. You know what? Okay. I'm going to do this one more time, and then I'm going to have to quit the stream, seriously, because I'm running out of time now. So this is the last run. I'm not going to grab the 717 at this point because I don't know what the cause is. I don't know what's going on. I'm barely using 10% of my system's capability right now. And P3D is just like really taking a crap. And Langdon says, thanks for the FlightSimCon interviews. Really great for those of you who can't get there. You know, I really did try. I know that the live streaming really sucked. So here's the thing. So last year we had Verizon. And this year the hotel was providing the internet. And then when we get there, the hotel kind of fucked us on that internet thing. They really did, because they provide us internet and then they put us all like on the same internet, and hardly no one was getting good. Like all the VATSIM guys, I know that, you know, in the BVA guys, I think they were struggling. I know Sim Innovations was struggling. Even my webcam, when I did the speed test, I was getting 10 megabits per second. I'm like, what is this, 1993? 10 megabits per second. I mean, they really, really screwed us on that. And the only reason why you guys got decent video footage, not for the webcam, but for like the interviews and stuff, was because I was running that off my AT&T data. Like seriously, my AT&T data was far better than what the convention was providing. But you know, the funny thing is I know there were a lot of complaints last year about the live stream, and I really did my best. So here's the thing. So last year, you know, I'm streaming this from my phone, mind you. All the live streams are coming from my iPhone. And the iPhone last year was sitting on top of the camera rig. And we're holding microphones, and people are like, why is the audio so damn shitty? You're talking into microphones, we can't hear. Because that's how people, when people think I'm an asshole, the way I respond to certain people is because it's the fucking entitlement. Like, your quality sucks, and you have mics, and I can't hear, and why doesn't your stuff work, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, so I listened to the complaints, so I bought this $100 mic that plugs into the iPhone, so there'd be better quality. And and then I invested in this new application that allows me to stream Twitch directly through the iPhone, whereas last year I had to stream from the iPhone to the laptop through Periscope, and then run Periscope through OBS, and then backtrack back to Twitch. It was a nightmare. I mean, you have no idea how much crap I went through to try to stream it. So this year I was able to get an app that allows me to stream Twitch straight through the app. But the problem was there was so much like activity, like frequency activity going on in the hotel, that the iPhone, like, or the app, kept picking up all of that static. So everyone was like complaining, there's like all the static, and the static sucks. And it's like there was just nothing I could do about it. So again, I invested that $100 for nothing, because the microphone was picking up all the feedback from all the frequencies that was going on at the convention. So you could hear better, but then you had the static that was in your face. So then that didn't work. So anyway, I mean, I really did try. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the way I see it is it comes down to this. I mean, the goal is to kind of give you just enough. What if I loaded the PMDG 777? You think that's going to kill it? At this point, I'm like afraid to take a risk at this point. So let's go default 737. That's just... because at this point, I have no idea what's going to work and what's not going to work here. And I don't want to take any more risks. So I'm running out of time. And as you can see, I'm well on my way into another rant. Sorry, hang on. Okay, let's just scrap that. And then let's make sure we're at MSP again, please. So, I mean, I get that, you know, it wasn't all that great. You know, I get that there's a lot of you that, you know, you're not able to travel to the event. I'm spending all of my time running around, so I don't get to the laptop to update stuff. So I do want to thank Jerome and Amos for helping out with at least getting some stuff up on the site, and to Ross, who was managing the chat here. I know a lot of people are running over to Belgiode, and, you know, so be it. I mean, look, the thing is the way I see it is the most people covering this event, the more it's going to be successful. You know, and I've tried to do as much as I can to try to provide as much as I can to those of you at home. At some point, I just stopped streaming the interviews because, number one, my son, bless his heart, he was getting really tired because the iPhone was not, he wasn't just holding an iPhone, it was like kind of set up on a little rig. And I know his arms were getting tired carrying that thing around, and not only that, but the phone needs enough battery power. So he's carrying this big battery around his waist, and he's running around and doing all that stuff. So, you know, big thanks to him for helping out. But, you know, I ran all the tests at home. Everything worked great. And then the second we put it in the field, everything just took a crap. So at a certain point, it was like there was no point in continuing to stream the interviews if, you know, the sound quality is going to suck. So, you know, a lot of the interviews you guys were able to watch live, and you can kind of go back to the Twitch page here. A lot of that stuff should still be there for those of you who are like, when are you going to, you know, finish getting all the interviews up there? You might still be able to catch some of them. The rest of them, I'm trying to crank them out as much as I can. When it comes to a busy life and a busy family life and all that, what I try to do at the very least is get your daily news up. So if you're wondering how come we're getting all this daily news but we're not getting all the other stuff, it's because literally I might be doing that from my iPhone while I'm on board an airplane or something. Like, I mean, literally just trying to keep your news coming. And everything else kind of comes when I have the free time. So, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to everything yet, but I am working on it, I promise you. So for the two of you that might say, well, at least thanks for making the effort, thank you for at least realizing that. Because there was one guy I got on his case because he's just complaining because he's not getting it in a timely manner, and he's upset because I was an asshole towards him. And it's like, you're complaining and you have no idea what goes into this. Someone said you call yourself the guru of Flight Sim News. I don't call myself the guru of anything. You're calling me that. You know, I just do the best I can with the time and the resources that I have to do it. You know, but when people complain and they have no understanding, it's no different than when people complain against developers and why the hell is this product taking so long, or why is the PL21 taking so long for the Milviz? Now, granted, the Milviz you prepaid for that, so some of you got a right to be upset, even though they never made a promise of release. But you know, I've seen people really attack developers because a product is taking so long to come out, and it's like a lot of people don't understand. Everyone has lives, you know. There's a lot that goes into development. A lot of the time, it's not because a developer has a life. A lot of the time, it's because they ran into a problem and they don't know how to fix it. And when we had that developers meeting, that backroom meeting at the convention, you know, that was one of the biggest things that came up was, you know, they run into problems and they don't know how to fix it, and they can spend the better part of the year trying to figure out how to resolve one little problem that prevents an aircraft or something or a scenery from getting released. And it was funny because another developer will pipe in and will say, damn, you know, I wish you'd reach out to me. I know exactly how to fix that. We had that problem a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever it was. So, you know, that's why we're working on getting developers to work together. But, you know, even when it comes to Flight Sim News, you know, you guys know it's just me. I don't try to hire a bunch of people, and a lot of people might wonder, why don't you open it up to volunteers? Well, we used to do that, and because I've been at this now for pushing 7 years, I can tell you why that doesn't work. And for all the Flight Sim websites that think that they're going to rule the world because they hire 1,000 people, it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because no matter how many people you hire, no one's getting paid a salary on this, and not everybody's going to pull their weight. And even if they are pulling their weight, they are not going to pull their weight equally. That almost never happens. And so you get to a point where it's like, man, I'm busting my ass, I'm putting news articles in every single day, I'm writing reviews, and this guy is like, he shows up a couple times a month and he writes an article on a post that maybe I wanted to write an article on, you know, or I might, you know, do a 1,000-page review, and then this person does 5 screenshots and a couple of paragraphs and calls it a review. And I know when developers don't like reviews because they tell me. And I know what reviews they like, and I know what reviews they don't like. And I know that when I do a review, you guys know how I do reviews. I go all out. My reviews are freaking novels. Literally, I've written novels on reviews. And so a lot of that stuff just takes a lot of time to do. And as of late, I just really haven't had the time to do it. I'd like to get back into doing reviews again. It's definitely something that I'm trying to plan for, as well as a podcast. A lot of you guys really like the type of format that I do on the podcast and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff is going to come back as well. But, you know, I just like to shoot up a reminder that, you know, this stuff takes a lot of time. Even like during a live stream right now, it's like, you know, this stuff takes a long time. You can see we're at this for 3 hours now. And sometimes it comes at the expense of family. I have a wife that's waiting on me to wrap up so we can go hang out and have dinner. And so, you know, I'm very dedicated and committed to you guys. But, you know, it takes time. So for those of you who are patient and you understand, I just want to say thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your understanding. Because, yeah, I am one guy, and it does take a lot of time to kind of get these things together. But I do enjoy it. So lest anyone think that, you know, it's all work for me. It's not. I do enjoy it. You know, people who know me personally, they still can't figure out how it is that I manage to do it. And sometimes I don't. Oh, man, where's my track IR? Sorry that I had to grab this particular plane, guys, but this is like what's working. Okay, let's restart chase plane. I am getting error messages up the wazoo right now. And I was just saying a minute ago, oh, how what did I say? How stable it runs? Yeah, maybe not really. Alright, there it is. Alright, let's back this up a little bit. I know this doesn't look great, but it's as good as it's going to get for now. Sorry. Alright, so that gives us something here. At least we don't have to worry about VAS in V3. Once I get to V4, man, all the toys are going to come out. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. All the toys are going to come out once we get over to V4. Believe you me. All right. So anyway, I've really overshot my time budget here. So for now, I'm just going to kind of pull up. I know I'm running across the lines here. I know we want to take a look at some of the night lighting, which, as you can see, looks fantastic, by the way. I think I'm going to taxi around just a little bit more here. Wherever the center line is. Where is it? I know I passed it. I'm like on the service road. Oh, there it is. So just kind of looking around. You know, again, I don't have anything negative to say about the airport. I think what's harder is trying to find some way that FlightBeam can improve, because, you know, it's like if you reach a point where you can't improve anymore, that's got to be tough. I'm sure Mir and team have a lot of ideas internally in terms of things that they're working on. I think the next big thing, to be honest with you, is what prepared version 4 is going to open up for developers in terms of how they can start experimenting with new technologies with version 4. So I think that's going to be really cool. Not only that, but Lockheed Martin in general. So if you figure, okay, Lockheed Martin has already come out with version 4. We know that they're going to release new features within version 4 that we haven't seen yet. Because usually, like, when P3D version 2 came out, we didn't see new features until, like, 2.4 and 2.5, right? So we, at the very... Oh, God, that looks beautiful. At the very least, we already know that we're going to see new features that we don't already know in version 4. So that we already know. The question is, okay, version 5 is going to come out. We've already met the 64-bit threshold, so what are the new features that we're going to start seeing? Okay, the night lighting, that's one of them. You know they're... Well, I should take that back. The whole thing with weather and all that. I'm sure that we're going to start seeing some changes in weather and raindrops and all of that. I've been saying that Lockheed Martin needs to hire Kevin Menard and get him down to Florida so they can figure out how to deliver the raindrop stuff. I don't know. They got to figure it out. But anyway, oh my God, this is FlightBeam at its best. So we know we're going to see more features. So anyway, the whole point of that is when Lockheed Martin opens up the door to more features, what is it that developers are going to start looking at that we don't already have that's going to really just make things really awesome? And I just can't wait for that to happen. Whatever it is going to be, A lot of it I may or may not know. I couldn't tell you because of NDAs and so on and so forth. But, you know, I think the bottom line is, and we've been saying this a lot, and this has come up a lot at FlightSimCon, we are in the best time that we've ever been for flight simulation, which is a huge turnaround from where we were 10 years ago. So, I mean, we're in great times, and we're going to see a lot of great things happen. And, you know, I think right now we are in the moment. We're in the future right now, and I think it's just a matter of, you know, when these things are going to be announced, you know, and people can stop complaining because I think a lot of the things that we've dreamed of, I think it's happening now. Okay, so last but not least is SODE, because I think we really need to see SODE. So, you know, I wish this could move a little bit faster. We're almost there, folks. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one. Alright, so anyway, really quickly, we didn't get to spend too much time looking at the night lighting here. So, am I still on the desktop? I can't even tell. No, I'm not. Okay. There we go. So, there she is. There's Minneapolis, man. I'll tell you this. Can that mouse please get out of the way? I'll tell you this. It was worth the wait. And I swear, I hope FlightBeam made a shitload of money on this. I really do. Oh, here's one issue. Hang on. Can I zoom in on this? Oh, they're not using the bridge. Oh, they can't use the bridge, huh? Although I think I've seen traffic use bridges before. I wish they were using that bridge, but okay. And I know there, I see there's some questions. Was this St. Paul over here? Is that what I zoomed on here a minute ago? That's St. Paul, right? That would be St. Paul. And I think this is Minneapolis over here. Am I getting that right, Ross? The Twin Cities. I see there's some last comments, and I'll get to those really quickly before we end. I just want to really just take one last good look at the scenery and the night lighting. Just well done. FlightBeam has done it again. I hope they made millions of dollars, or I hope they will, so they can continue delivering these fantastic airports. I hope the next time I deliver a mega airport live stream, I hope it's going to be Flight Tampa Boston. I hope. I would imagine that Boston is going to come before Las Vegas. I would imagine Boston will be next and then Las Vegas. So, man, we got some great stuff coming out, man. This is just, I'm so excited. I really am. I should bring that airport in a little, that aircraft in a little bit closer so we can try the SODE jetway. And just get you up in here a little bit closer to the textures and night lighting one more time before we say goodbye. And we actually didn't even make our way over into the land side, did we? We really didn't. And FlightBeam did a great job in this area too. In fact, I'm just going to bring the lights back really quickly here, just so that we can see some of the details down here as well. Because yeah, I really didn't get into this area much. So, man, this just looks terrific. Oh my God. Man, when I get my version 4, my first flight's gonna be from Minneapolis to Toronto. I can't wait to pair this up with Toronto. These two sceneries are gonna look so great next to each other too. And we got Montreal. And this is awesome. Yeah. I'm really pleased. So anyway, once again, FlightBeam has won me over when it comes to an airport that really didn't have all my attention, but Yeah, they freaking mirror, man. This guy knows what he's doing. All right, let's go back in the aircraft. I'm going to pull up a little bit closer to the gate. We're going to hit the SODE, and then I'm going to hit the done for the day stream. I am starving. Okay, let's pull up here a little bit more. Oh, that should be far enough. Ah! All right, pause. And, all right, let's pull up the SODE menu. I think you should be able to see it. Sony 151, is that the latest one? Okay, select stand, and we are at Concourse Charlie, I think. Oh crap, wait, is this Charlie? What gate is this? This is C Charlie 3, right? Oh, there it is. There we go. There's that SODE in action, huh? There she is. In all her splendor, ladies and gentlemen, I give you FlightBeam Minneapolis. Okay, I'll take one last hit on the comments here, and then I'm going to bounce. You guys are so patient. Thank you for sitting through all the BS while I try to keep these live streams running. You would think that of all the years I've been doing these live streams that I would have gotten better at this, but no. It's about the same. Let's see. Yeah, my 15 minutes was up. Grasshopper says, didn't know pilots talk so much. Hey, if you ever jump seat, you get to sit up there. I remember the days before 9/11 when I was at FedEx, and I would jump seat places just because I had nothing else better to do with my weekend. Like, oh, I'll just go to Memphis twice this weekend, just to jump seat, you know. And you sit in that 727, and you've got 5 people, 1, 2, 3, you've got 5 people crammed in the cockpit of a 727. Believe you me, the conversations can go quite well off the rails. All right. Grasshopper says real life should come first. Well, I consider Air Daily X to be part of real life. It's just a matter of finding time for everything. But don't worry, yeah, I'm working on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to get at least one interview up by tonight, and then I'll see how I can manage through the rest of the week. Oh, Skyforce 3D. Maybe that's why they're taking so long. Maybe they're working on Skyforce 40 now that prepared version 4 is like on the horizon. And thanks for Lars for 29 palms for hanging out too. I always love when we have a developer hanging out too. I miss you, Lars. Can't wait to do another interview with you whenever that next release comes out. We got to get Captain Simmons on a stream too, because he does great work. And I don't know if he speaks English. I know he's German, right? So I don't know how good his English is, but it'd be great to get him to come on and we can chat about Nuremberg, because I am so super excited about that airport. So yeah, I'll definitely be streaming that. Yeah. Oh, Phil! What's up, buddy? There's Phil. Yeah, I hope to see you in Vegas, man. We had some great times, didn't we? Tell the wife I said hi. She was so lovely. She really was. Great times. Great times. Oh, my God. I had so much fun. As a matter of fact, one night, and that was the night, Phil, that you couldn't join us because it took us all so long to get our crap together. But when we finally made it over to the sports bar, everyone thought I was crazy because I was drinking coffee and beer at the same time because I was so sleepy. I had, ever since I got on the ground at Bradley, like I never had more than I think 3 hours of sleep. And I wanted to have fun, so I was drinking coffee and beer so that I could be drunk and be awake at the same time so I could have fun so I wouldn't pass out. Oh, it was so much fun. Great times, great times. I already can't wait till next year. It's going to be great. Yeah, so anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out in the stream. I will get this up on YouTube as soon as possible so that you guys can catch up on whatever you missed. But indeed, once again, FlightBeam has just totally killed it with MSP. We finally have this very important and very strategic airport. All we need now is for the aircraft to catch up. Let's get that CRG. Let's Let's get that CRJ. Let's get those ERJs. And really open this up, man. But just what a terrific job. Even the Aerosoft A330 too is going to be a must-have aircraft for MSP as well. We've got the PMDG 747 too. I don't know if they fly this. Oh, yeah, they do, right? They fly the 747 to Asia out of here, I think, or something. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. It's been another fun stream. My hat's off to Amir and all of the wonderful guys at FlightBeam for delivering such a wonderful, fun product for us for such a reasonable price, too. Goodbye, Coatl. It was nice seeing ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. No more of that. And, yeah, Lars, you're looking forward to the next stream. I hope it's one of your products. Actually, the next stream, really quickly before I go, next stream is going to be a quickie. It's going to be really quick. It's going to be Bird Dog versus Bird Dog. One of the guys, his name is Ian. Very nice guy with the Black Box, group. He pulled me aside and we did some good chatting. And you know, I explained to him that I'm really excited about this whole VR realm that they're kind of expanding into, and I really wanted to kind of, you know, start looking into that. So he arranged to have his Bird Dog sent, and I'm a huge fan of the old Sibwings Bird Dog, so I'm like, you know what, we need to do some Bird Dog versus Bird Dog. So I will get into a little bit of the what the hell is that program called? Wama, Where Is My Aircraft? I will have that just so that I can have both bird dogs on the ground at the same time, so that we can compare the two both inside and out. So that's going to be the next stream for sure, because that stream's only going to be probably 30 minutes. But I thought I would just kick that off really quickly just as a fun little stream, and then I will put the live stream post back at the top of the Air Daily X page, so that way you guys know what streams are coming up and you can get an idea of when they're coming. Again, I apologize I didn't get to stream last weekend. I literally had one day off and Windows 10 completely trashed all of it, so really sorry about that. But I'm slowly getting there. But yeah, look out for that post in terms of what's coming next, and then you know, depending on where 29 Palms is, hopefully I'll be getting onto that too. So developers usually give me about a heads up a few weeks before a release is coming, so that gives me time to start planning for it. So just try to stick to the daily news page to see when the next stuff is coming up. And hey, thanks again. It was fun hanging out with you guys, even though I was technically talking to myself for the past 3 hours. Have fun with Flight Sim. I know, I hope I can. I'm out of here, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next time. Ciao. Oh, yeah, happy 4th of July. How did I forget that? Have a happy 4th of July. Goodbye. Love you, Phil.